After a whole day of shopping at the mall, I only spent $1, and that was just because I bought a pack of tissues to use the restroom. My stepsister was stunned, my stepmom was furious, but I just laughed, because they had linked an exchange system to me. For every dollar I spent, they earned $1. In my past life, they drove a wedge between my father and me, coaxing me into squandering money recklessly. My father was utterly disappointed in me, severed our ties. And I ended up losing both my wealth and family, reduced to handing out flyers on the streets. Not only did my stepsister inherit my father's company and fortune, but she also married my fiancé. My sister even came with my ex-fiancé to deliver the wedding invitation, saying meekly, "Sister, though you never truly treated them with sincerity, from now on, Liana will take care of Dad and Brother Holden for you." This time around, I'm making the rounds at my favorite luxury boutiques in the mall, indulging in the VIP lounge to my heart's content. "You dare to mess with my fate? Fine, let's swap and see how you like it. Sis, are you going to Grand Plaza again tomorrow? Dad said he'll freeze your card if you keep spending. Please don't buy anything too extravagant for Brother Holden, especially watches or cars. His friends would be so jealous they'd end up ostracizing him." Stepsister Liana slipped halfway through the slightly ajar door, her face a mask of feigned innocence as if genuinely offering sisterly advice. I sat at the vanity, staring blankly at my slender, pale neck adorned with the ruby necklace from my grandmother, a symbol of the Dai family's legacy. Eventually, that very necklace ended up in the hands of her and her mother, and it was draped around Liana's neck on her wedding day. The sound snapped me out of the overwhelming astonishment of my rebirth. In my past life, after hearing my stepsister's heartfelt advice, I was completely consumed by anger over my father and stepsister speaking ill of me behind my back, while also craving the spotlight at Holden's birthday celebration. The next morning, the moment the mall opened, I rushed over and went on a shopping spree. Not only did I buy him a watch worth over $500,000, but I also decked myself out head to toe in the latest collection. The whole haul set me back more than $800,000. Not to mention covering the entire night's expenses for Holden at the Royal Court 5-star hotel, including the sauna services and presidential suite his crew specifically requested. That single night cost over $1 million. They kept calling me sister-in-law, and with each flattering word, I was so over the moon I could barely find my way home. 1. How outrageous. How dare Dad say that about me? Don't worry, I won't let anyone look down on Brother Holden. I deliberately put on a domineering, angry expression. Seeing that I had taken the bait, Liana sneered inwardly, thinking, "What a fool." Yet, she gently advised, "Dad only said that because he wants me to keep an eye on you, but I'm sure you know your limits." She really has a talent for adding fuel to the fire. Every word they said was meant to stir up my resentment toward my father. I waited until Liana had gone back to her own room. Only then did I get up, swiftly lock the door, gently remove the necklace from my neck, and place it, along with some other expensive jewelry from the room, into the backpack I planned to take with me the next day. This time, I wasn't going to leave these behind for someone else to take advantage of. Only when the noise outside had completely died down did I tiptoe to my stepmother's door and press my ear against it, listening to the conversation inside. With Dad away on a business trip, only Liana and my stepmother Sasha were in there. "You are way too reckless today. How could you just agree to buy Holden a house? It's not some trivial few $1,000s, we're talking millions here. Mom, I'm doing this to keep him stringing along that fool Daphne. I guarantee she'll drop at least $1 million or $2 million tomorrow." I told his buddies to go all out with the most expensive plans for tomorrow night. It's not like that idiot won't foot the bill anyway. Though Daphne's soul had been trapped in Liana's ruby necklace due to their bloodline connection after her previous death, witnessing plenty of Liana's schemes, hearing her calculated plans firsthand still infuriated her, trying to make me spend my money. "Fine, let's see who can actually get me to open my wallet in this lifetime." Just like in my past life, I rushed through my morning routine and slipped into Dad's room, pretending to stealthily pocket his black card. Little did they know, I'd already spotted my stepmother lurking around the corner, watching my every move, as if worried I might fail to steal it. This time, I didn't just take Dad's black card, I also grabbed the savings passbook he'd tucked away, the one my mother had left for me. I only found out about that card after I died. Dad was afraid I'd squander it and wanted to wait until I turned 18 to give it to me. Little did he know it would end up benefiting Sasha and her mother. After slipping the card into my bag, I deliberately acted nervous and glanced around, making sure they got a full view of my acting skills. Then I had the driver take me to the mall. Liana watched me take the card and leave. Then she started getting dolled up herself. She was going to sign the house purchase contract with Brother Holden today. The down payment of $850,000 nearly wiped out her entire savings, all because of my recent impulsive shopping spree. But she's not the least bit worried about running out of money, because she knows I'll definitely spend it. As long as the fate exchange system is still in place, she doesn't worry about being broke. After all, she traded 20 years of her life for my Phoenix Destiny fortune. Every penny I spend, she earns, but that also means every penny I earn, she loses. Still, once I'm completely broke, the fate exchange ritual will be complete, and I'll be free from her control. That's why she needs someone like Holden to keep me in check. She wants me to fall for him and never be able to recover, but she doesn't know that after my rebirth, I can also hear the same system notifications as her. Every time she makes a transaction, I get a bullet screen notification about it. So when I was lounging with my legs crossed in the VIP room of Baba's mansion, enjoying the desserts and black tea served by the shopping assistant, and a notification popped up about an 850,000 yuan expense, I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Now that's what I call a generous birthday gift they were secretly carrying on in this very room in their past lives, and to think I actually helped facilitate their affair. After tonight, with her financial support cut off, let's see how they'll manage to pay their mortgage. Liana quickly completed the home purchase procedures, though she couldn't shake this uneasy premonition. Speaking of which, Daphne has been at the mall for so long, how hasn't she made a single purchase yet? She checked the time, it's almost noon. Normally, a whole morning would be enough for her to go on a shopping spree. Liana poked at her steak impatiently. What's up with Liana today? She seems so distracted, Holden asked softly as he reached over to cut her steak into smaller pieces. Frankly speaking, Liana isn't as good looking as Daphne. Daphne has fair, dewy skin and large, expressive eyes, with just a hint of baby fat that gives her a youthful, almost adolescent appearance. In contrast, Liana's complexion is somewhat sallow, and her slender, petite frame makes her look delicate, almost as if she's undernourished. But she's the one who just paid for his 4-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment in the city center. He'd cradle even a piece of crap in his hands, treating it with the utmost care. Maybe you should give Daphne a call. She rushed out in such a hurry this morning and isn't replying to my messages. I'm really worried something might have happened to her. Liana gazed at Holden with tender affection. Yes, let him see. Maybe it'll stir things up and give Daphne a little nudge. I'm at the third handbag store now, and wow, these new arrivals are absolutely stunning. I'm seriously tempted to splurge on one. Just as I was thoroughly enjoying myself, Holden's call came through, and I suddenly remembered I'd forgotten to disable his utterly nauseating custom ringtone. I was about to decline the call when it hit me. Ending it too quickly would spoil all the fun, wouldn't it? Clearing my throat, I put on a sugary voice and answered. Hello, Holden, dear, how are you? Liana and the other person were visibly disgusted by my sickly sweet tone but managed to choke out, Daphne, I just feel like I haven't seen you in ages. It's my birthday party tonight, will you come keep me company? His gentle tone reached my ears. I took a sip of the floral tea offered by the sales assistant before replying. If Holden misses me, of course I'll be there, too. I almost spat out the tea I just sipped, disgusted by my own sugary words. Then let's meet at the Royal Court Hotel at 8 tonight. Don't bring anything, just you showing up would make me happy. I don't care what others think of me, this time. The sickeningly sweet talk actually made me spray my tea. After hanging up, it dawned on me, I can't just stop spending money altogether just because Liana has no income. My quality of life wouldn't just take a hit, it'd be like winning the battle but losing the war. My cheerful mood from this morning suddenly turned gloomy. How can I spend money without adding to Liana's assets? Suddenly, an idea flashed through my mind. I immediately went over to the lottery machine on the first floor and spent 100 yuan to buy 5 scratch-off tickets. Less than 3 seconds after payment, a 100 yuan income popped up on the bullet screen. I rummaged through my pockets and bag but couldn't find anything hard like a coin. Luckily, a staff member nearby handed me a scraper. Scratched the first one, nothing. Scratched the second one, hey, 20 yuan. Broke even on that one. Scratched the third and fourth, another 20 yuan each. Lost on one of those. Finally, scratched the fifth one. Whoa, 80 yuan. So I actually broke even and made 20 bucks. I scratched off the tickets one by one, watching the notifications pop up. A 20 yuan payout, another 20, and then an 80. Hey, I'm up 20. That means even if I spend this 20, she'd just break even on her end. As long as I only spend what I earn and don't go over, she'll never be able to get any savings from me. The more I earn, the poorer she becomes. But now I'm stuck again. How on earth can I make money? I'm really at a loss for ideas, especially since I didn't earn a single penny in my past life. I decided to just take it easy for now. These things can't be rushed, so I treated myself to a simple fried rice and a pack of tissues. Total came to 21 bucks, though the flavor was basic. Paying with my own hard-earned money gave me such a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Liana, still waiting for the income notification. was pacing anxiously around the room. She had urged Holden to wait in the hotel lobby much earlier. As the brothers gradually arrived, Daphne finally made her appearance before everyone. Holden glanced at Daphne's empty hands, then peered incredulously behind her a few more times. No gifts, no attendants carrying anything. Could it be? Did she really not prepare a gift for herself? That can't be. She must have a surprise planned that just hasn't arrived yet. Holden quickly came up with an excuse to console himself. He put on a smile again and walked up to them. Holden, I went through all the trouble of getting dressed up and putting on makeup just to celebrate your birthday. Don't you think I look pretty today? After saying that, I deliberately twirled around to show off, wearing nothing but a dress and some simple accessories, not even carrying a purse. I had already stored my bag and personal belongings back at the mall. Holden forced an awkward smile and said, I'm just glad you could make it. Daphne, let's head up, everyone else is already here. I watched the elevator numbers climb floor by floor until it stopped at the top level. It seems the lack of earnings this afternoon pushed Liana to her limit. She went all out and upgraded us to the most expensive presidential suite. As I looked at each familiar face, a surge of hatred welled up inside me. Every one of them was an accomplice. They're all blood-sucking parasites who deserve to rot in the gutter. You look absolutely stunning today, sis. No wonder Holden couldn't wait downstairs. It's you. Who else could make him this eager? Don't tease my sister like that. She was just setting up a surprise for Holden. That's why she's late, right, sis? Liana knew I was too proud to lose face, so she deliberately put me on the spot in front of everyone. She waited for me to agree before steering the conversation to make me foot the bill for tonight. I pretended to be shy, pursing my lips and staying silent to play the role of someone sacrificing for love. Then, in a timid whisper, I replied, Brother Holden said, I'm his best gift. I covered my face and slipped away amid the roaring laughter. Liana was a bit annoyed she couldn't get a word in, but she was confident she'd have plenty of chances to put me in my place later. Everyone thought I was blushing because they'd hit a nerve, but the truth is, I was afraid I'd get too into the act and burst out laughing, watching the hotel staff bustling in and out with one Michelin-starred dish after another. I quietly did the math in my head. Holy smokes, just one meal must cost at least $7,000 or $8,000 per person. With this many people, we're looking at blowing $400,000 or $500,000, even though I'd been feasting all day and wasn't really hungry by then. It'd be a shame to pass up free food. I'm not just eating, I'm having a couple extra drinks too. How else is my dear little sister going to get her chance if I don't drink? In my past life, I drank from the cup she handed me and felt dizzy after just a few sips. I ended up lying in the same room with Holden, my clothes in disarray. After the incident, Holden immediately promised to marry me once he achieved success in his career. I foolishly believed our wedding was just around the corner. Later, he repeatedly asked me for money. Using excuses like his business was struggling or his mother was hospitalized, I kept giving him money, again and again, like a fool, until my father disowned me and kicked me out. Watching Liana walk over calmly with that cup in her hand, as if she could pull the same trick again in this lifetime. Let's see who outsmarts him this time. Sis, you should go wish Holden a happy birthday. Here, have this glass, it's low-alcohol champagne, and the pink color will look gorgeous in photos. She raised the camera in her other hand, signaling she wanted to take our picture. She really gets me, knows I'm a sucker for anything cute and pink. Sure, I took the glass from her. Make sure you get a good shot. Okay. I held the glass and linked arms with Holden, trying out a few poses. Just as I was about to let go, someone pulled us closer, and I froze, glass still raised. Thank you all so much for coming to my birthday celebration today. This is truly an unforgettable experience for me. And I'm grateful for everyone who's here to share it with me. Holden looked at me with heartfelt emotion as he spoke, raising his glass to propose a toast to everyone. If this wasn't premeditated, I wouldn't believe they could coordinate so perfectly. I raised my glass high and downed the entire drink in one go. Only after seeing me drink did Liana cheerfully pick up her own glass and down it in one go. Setting down the glass, I silently counted to 3 in my head, then stumbled slightly before quickly slipping into the restroom just as Holden moved to steady me. Missing his chance to grab me, Holden shot Liana a meaningful look before casually heading off to another room. Catching his drift, Liana followed me into the restroom. Her legs felt a bit weak, but she brushed it off, focused on finishing the job so she could openly call for me to pay the bill. She just didn't expect to see me calmly washing my hands the moment she entered the restroom. Without a trace of drowsiness, "Are you okay, sis?" she asked as she approached me. "I'm fine. Did you need something, little sister?" I smiled at her. Liana grew uneasy under my gaze, a sense of foreboding washing over her as she turned to alert Holden. "Oh dear, I'm feeling so dizzy, everything's spinning around me." I stopped joking, wiped the smile off my face, and feigned dizziness and unsteadiness, all to buy a little more time for the others outside. Overjoyed, Liana rushed to support my arm. and I took the chance to lean my full weight on her. Her legs were already weak, and this extra pressure made it almost unbearable. She barely managed to drag me to the door. She collapsed before even making it out. Perfect, it's working. If I didn't prepare after being reborn, this second chance would be wasted. I secretly switched the wine while she was busy pouring and fiddling with the camera, with Holden. I bet they've already slept together. Isn't he into the ladies' sauna? Make it happen. Holden had just entered the room and hadn't even sat down when the door started pounding. He opened it to find a staff member standing there. "Sir, Miss Liana asked me to tell you to come to room 102. She said it's too far for her to bring it over herself. You'll know what she means." The waiter left after speaking, and Holden didn't think much of it. Liana was scrawny, and dragging the unconscious Daphne around was both strenuous and too conspicuous. He closed the door and headed toward the room at the other end. The rooms were situated on either side of the banquet hall, and though they were on the same floor, they still felt quite private. I supported Liana and hid around the corner, watching Holden enter room 2 before quickly guiding her back to the original room. Seeing the room, which was decorated exactly as it had been in my previous life, a wave of fury erupted like a flash flood. I immediately changed Liana's dress into a hotel bathrobe, turned off the lights on my way out, and left the door slightly ajar. I stepped out and casually pulled a server aside, pointing at someone while whispering a few instructions in their ear. Then I returned to my seat, ready to enjoy the show. Sure enough, the moment the server finished speaking, that person's face twisted into a menacing expression, rubbing their hands together. They hurried toward the room. After all that commotion, I actually started feeling hungry. I asked the server to take away the cold meal and bring a fresh steak. In high spirits, I slowly savored every bite. Holden waited for quite a while but saw no one, and a sense of unease crept over him. Just as he stepped into the hall, he spotted me chatting and laughing with others, looking perfectly fine. He scanned the room but couldn't find Liana anywhere, and a bad feeling washed over him. Suddenly, a piercing scream shattered the lively atmosphere in the hall. A woman wrapped in a bathrobe dashed out of a room, though her disheveled state revealed glimpses of skin. The vivid red marks on her neck were even more eye-catching. Right behind her, a man stumbled out, his clothes in disarray, frantically trying to pull up his pants. Deep red scratches from fingernails covered her chest and shoulders. "Whoa, you two really know how to have fun. What kind of special hobby is this?" Amid mocking laughter and teasing whistles, Liana was so wrong this time that she couldn't stop crying. "It's not like that. I was just resting in my room when he barged in and tried to take advantage of me." Liana had no idea how she ended up passing out, and now it was even harder to explain. Thank goodness she woke up quickly, or her reputation would have been ruined. "Who's trying to violate you?" The door was wide open, and you were lying there looking all seductive. "Who knows what you were thinking? Maybe you just wanted to pin this on me," the man shamelessly argued. Knowing he hadn't lost out in the situation, Holden was completely exasperated, but he knew it wasn't the time to argue. He could only take off his coat and drape it over Liana, skillfully guiding the sobbing woman back to her room to change clothes. "Are you kidding? The show's over, time to make a quick exit. Why stick around and risk being taken for a fool?" Everyone's attention was fixed on the trio, while I quietly packed a box full of pastries to take away. I took my time riding the elevator downstairs. The driver's car was still waiting, so I had him drive back to the original mall before dismissing him for the day. I don't trust a single person in this household right now, especially since we still haven't uncovered who was responsible for my father's death in his previous life. I can't afford to let my guard down. Just as I retrieved my stored belongings and turned on my phone, it lit up with countless missed calls from Holden and Liana. Looks like they finally noticed the cash cow is gone. Now they're starting to panic. Unfortunately, I've got important matters to attend to and no time to deal with them. After leaving the mall, I hailed a cab straight to the nearest real estate development. First, to find myself a comfortable place to stay, and second, because in my past life, property prices here skyrocketed due to economic development. The unit Liana bought later appreciated to over 10 million. Not only do I want to make it impossible for them to pay their mortgage, but more importantly, I need to buy 2 properties myself first. The sales office was eerily quiet late at night, with only 2 staff members on duty. "Can't you see all that dust? Clean it up now." A pot-bellied man stood with his hands on his hips, barking orders at a female colleague in uniform, forcing her to kneel and wipe down the architectural models in the display. Just another piece of trash abusing what little authority he has to torment others. In my previous life, when I was down on my luck, I finally landed a flyer distribution job, but that male manager kept shifting the goalposts. No standing indoors, no staying in the shade, making me roast under the sun all day, just to get a cheap thrill from seeing me drenched in sweat and humiliated. "You there? Show me the property." I walked over and firmly helped the embarrassed woman to her feet. She gave me a grateful smile and quickly straightened her clothes. "This way, miss. Please have a seat and wait here for a moment." With that, she hurried off, returning shortly with a stack of property listings and a cup of hot tea. "Please take a look to see if any of the floor plans interest you. I'll grab the keys and show you around in a moment. You can call me Clara." I watched this person, noticeably older than me, adopt a humble demeanor, clearly cherishing this unexpected business opportunity. "So you're Clara. My surname is Dye. I'd like to see either a 3-bedroom 2-bath or 4-bedroom 2-bath unit with a southern exposure. The layout needs to be practical with good natural lighting. While penthouse duplexes hold more value, they're actually harder to sell later on. A practical smaller unit is better. It sells faster and converts to cash more easily." The male manager had been eavesdropping nearby. Realizing the young woman was viewing properties alone late at night, he immediately started scheming to take advantage of the situation. "Why don't you go tidy up over there, Clara? I'll handle things here," the shameless manager said as he pushed his way closer, physically nudging Clara aside. "Just tell me which units meet my requirements. Grab all the keys. We're going to see them now," I said directly to Clara, ignoring the unpleasant look on his face. "Sorry, but in this second life of mine, I'm not wasting time on trash like him, Miss Dye. This way please. We currently have 2 good options with nice orientation and floor levels, Unit 1605 in Phase 2 and Unit 2201 in Phase 3. Both are 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom units. There's also a 4-bedroom one." She lowered her voice and leaned in slightly, saying, "The old lady across from that unit is always making trouble, hoards trash. The hallway's smelly and messy. She's got a terrible temper too. If you have other choices, it's not worth seeing that one." "All right, I'll go with your suggestion. I have a soft spot for people who know how to show gratitude. Both units have excellent layout and square footage. It's hard to judge the natural lighting at night, but since neither is on a low floor, it shouldn't be an issue, Miss Dye. Both units are priced at the current market rate of $16,000 per square meter with our new development promotion. Each unit comes with a free parking space. It's really quite a good deal. Let's lock in both units then. Here's my ID card. Go ahead and prepare the paperwork." The quote seemed fair, with no attempt to overcharge or give arbitrary numbers despite my young age. Okay, so Miss Dye, are we going with installments or paying in full?" Clara's voice trembled with excitement. She never expected to close the deal so quickly, and for 2 units. Xiaobao's medical expenses for the next 2 months are covered, actually. The money in that card Mom left is more than enough to buy both apartments outright, but I don't want the money I'm spending now to end up as savings in Liana's pocket. Those two are probably arguing over tonight's bill right now. "Well, here's the money. Go ahead and spend it. Let's see how you'll pay me back later. Installment plans, minimum of 3 payments, right, for both units. What's the down payment?" "Sure, Ms. Dye. The down payment is 30%. For Unit 1605, 180 SQM, it's 864,000. For 2201, 192 SQM, it's 921,600. Total comes to 1,785,600. Here's the contract for your review. That amount is almost the same as what Holden spent tonight." Holden was pacing like an ant on a hot pan, too frantic to even comfort the still sobbing Liana. "Call Daphne again. How are we supposed to settle the bill now that she's gone? Over $1 million. Stop crying already and think of something." Liana was utterly frustrated tonight. Not only did her plan backfire, but she also ended up in this mess. She could clearly sense Holden's disapproving gaze. No idea what's up with that damn girl. Aside from a few small purchases of she barely spent anything all day. That's totally unlike her usual self. The 2 of them hid in the room, too scared to step out and face the staff with the bill. But hiding away wasn't solving anything either. Holden was absolutely livid, convinced that since Liana started this mess, she should be the one to face the consequences. One moment he was pressuring Liana to contact Daphne, the next he was telling her to squeeze money out of someone else. "My selfish stepmother only ever spends money on herself. She's never spared a penny for her own daughter, but her precious daughter is something else. The fate exchange system allows trades using close relatives, and Liana traded 20 years of her mother's life for my financial luck. Did you really think she'd give up 20 years of her own life that easily, like father, like son?" Just as Liana was at her wit's end and about to ask her mother for help, the system finally popped up with a series of payment notifications. Received a payment of 250,000 yuan. Received a payment of 200,000 yuan. Received a payment of 180,000 yuan. Received a payment of 360,000 yuan. Liana felt the sound of the incoming payment in her mind was like heavenly music, watching the constant stream of payment notifications popping up. Her eyes lit up with excitement. It's spent, $1 million already. And it's still climbing. The final amount settled at $1.8 million. Where could Daphne possibly be spending that much money so late at night? Or was there a delay with the afternoon deposit? Liana can't make sense of this system either. It's a shame there's no way to chat or look up the reason for the payment. All she knows is that with the money secured, her mind is at ease. Brother Holden, I can cover your bill tonight, but I want Daphne and that man from earlier to pay for this. Find someone to teach them a lesson. Liana had calmed down, realizing this was no coincidence. She was determined to make them suffer, hearing that she'd foot the bill. Holden couldn't agree fast enough. He immediately hugged, kissed, and comforted her, though his eyes kept drifting to the faint red marks on her neck. The payment notification had barely arrived 5 minutes ago, and already it had turned into a hefty expense. Soaking in the hotel bathtub, I couldn't help but laugh. This is your last supper, better enjoy it while you can. It's been 2 days since my rebirth, and I finally have time to properly plan how to generate profits quickly enough to make Liana suffer the consequences and end this exchange. The property market isn't something that changes overnight. What we need now is fast transactions, quick liquidation, substantial returns. I picked up the new phone I'd just bought, inserted a new SIM card, and called my dad. Unfortunately, he must still be on a business trip and didn't answer. After some thought, I ended up calling him from my old phone. Still no answer, but this time I sent him a text from that phone too. I'm sure he'll reply when he sees it, after washing up. I lay in bed reminiscing about what had happened around this time in my past life, while logging back into my social media accounts on my new phone. Suddenly, it hit me, a flash of inspiration. At that time, the Lala doll blind boxes weren't very popular yet, but the following month, a celebrity's performance suddenly made them a huge hit. The exact style and collab version they wore skyrocketed in value overnight, some increasing by tens or even hundreds of times. They became so sought after that finding one on the resale market was nearly impossible, so I can buy them now and resell them later. That's a surefire way to make a killing. I quickly checked. The concert is less than a week away. I need to get moving. Good thing the paperwork for my new place will be sorted soon, or I'd have nowhere to store all this stuff. The next morning, I left the rest of my things in the hotel safe. Just grabbed my bag and phone to head home. After last night's drama, I had to play along, didn't I? As soon as I stepped inside, I saw Liana with red-rimmed eyes, clinging to her stepmother's arm on the sofa. The moment she spotted me, her eyes welled up even more, and tears began to fall like clockwork. Daphne, I'm not one to criticize, but Liana is your sister after all. Last night, she was treated so horribly and left covered in bruises. Even if you couldn't stand up for her, you shouldn't have just abandoned her and run off. Sasha had just heard from her daughter that I'd left without paying the bill, and she ended up covering over $1 million in charges. No wonder she's so upset about the money. Are you blaming me, sis? After Holden brought me to the room, he went out to look for you. I had no idea you'd already left on your own. I have to say, Liana's skill in twisting the story truly surpasses even her master. When you threw yourself into his arms, did it even cross your mind that I'm your sister? I feigned anger, slammed my bag down, and stormed straight to my room. Perfect, this totally fits my hopeless romantic persona. After tossing my purse onto the couch, the first thing I did was pack the remaining valuables into my bag. With Dad not home, I had to take the jewelry Mom left behind too. Thank goodness the house is under Dad's name. But I need to secure these easily liquidated assets, the jewelry and bank cards, before that mother-daughter duo tries to snatch everything when they're desperate for cash. You're just taking advantage of me because I have no mother to defend me, aren't you? Everyone knows Holden is my fiancé, yet you still throw yourself at him half-dressed. What will people think of me when they see this? The mother and daughter sat on the sofa, watching me dart between the room and the master bedroom while muttering complaints. One trip to retrieve Mom's brocade wedding dress, another trip to grab the gold and jewelry from the safe, a final trip to secure Dad's 2 luxury watches. The act's getting old. I'll stuff what I can into my bag, and lock up the rest in the cabinet. I slammed the door shut with a loud bang. Don't even try to win me over. Without that VL limited edition Birkin bag, you're not getting my forgiveness. I dropped my rehearsed lines, grabbed my bag stuffed with cash, and strutted out the door. Uncle Wang, the driver, dropped me off at another mall. As I got out of the car, our eyes met. He seemed to want to say something but finally just said, "Take care, miss. I checked last night. This Lala flagship store is the largest in the city, so they should have the most complete selection. I'm not worried that Liana won't buy me the bag. Are you kidding? She's still trying to squeeze money out of me. No way she'd risk me cutting her off. Perfect. I'll help cover some of her expenses, and she'll buy me a bag in return. The money ends up right back with me. Haha. I've snapped up all the hottest items from my past life memories that were in stock, and picked out some styles I like to decorate my new home. I've set the delivery address to the new place. I gave Clara from the sales office a call to schedule the paperwork, and asked her to help sign for the shipment and have it placed on the 22nd floor. I also requested that she remember to change the locks for me. After all, with so many people around, you never know who might still have a copy of the old keys. Even though I haven't moved in yet, this batch of items is quite valuable. Clara agreed right away. After all, I'm the client who earned her a hefty commission. Even the male manager only dares to make snide remarks behind her back now. Not openly bully her anymore. She's so grateful she insisted on working the night shift that evening, which gave her the chance to meet such a benefactor. Tired from walking, she found a restaurant to rest and eat. The moment she sat down and looked up, she spotted an old acquaintance. Well, if it isn't her dear sister and her fiancé, she was just worrying about how to make them spend some money, and here they are, delivered right to her doorstep. I pinched my thigh hard, held back the pain, and squeezed out 2 tears. And you still say you haven't wronged me? Last night, hugging each other naked was an accident, but now having a fancy French dinner together, don't tell me someone forced you into this too. Liana felt like she was having a string of bad luck lately. This morning, when she tried to ask her mom for some money, she ran into Daphne throwing a fit and demanding a Birkin bag, over 300,000 yuan. Where would she even get that kind of money? Hearing the system notification that she had spent over 100,000 again, Liana was both jealous and thrilled. That brat is so lucky. How does someone with no brains get to live such a charmed life? After pestering her mom for what felt like forever, she finally transferred 200,000 yuan. The money hadn't even warmed her pocket before it turned into a Birkin bag. Liana loved the bag herself. She swung her hips as she carried it off to her date with Holden. I couldn't believe it. We just sat down when I heard Daphne's voice. She never comes to this mall. What are the odds we'd all be here today? Holden immediately stood up and pulled the chattering Daphne aside. Seeing the strange looks from other diners, he knew he couldn't let her ramble on. Who knows what kind of rumors would spread by tomorrow. Before their food even arrived, Holden was already leading Daphne out. Liana trailed behind unsteadily, looking so upset she might burst into tears any second. Why would Daphne think that of me? Liana only asked me out to apologize for what happened last night. I was actually asking her about your preferences. As he spoke, he gently took my hands in his. I want to give you a gift to make up for my poor hospitality yesterday. Is that really true? I just knew Holden only has eyes for me, fighting the urge to pull my hand away from his grasp. My eyes weren't feigning innocence this time. They genuinely lit up at the mention of receiving gifts. I snatched the bag from Liana's arm and pouted. Well, since you're offering, I suppose I can reluctantly forgive you. Let's go, Holden. Time to pick out my gift. Ignoring Liana's reluctant expression, I grabbed Holden's arm and dragged him into the luxury boutique. Just kidding. When a sucker comes knocking, we've got to milk them for all they're worth. I rarely come to these brand stores, but the selection here is way better than the mall near my place. But this guy kept shooting down all the expensive pieces I picked, first saying this one doesn't suit my vibe, then that one looks too dated. In the end, he picked out a tiny pair of earrings and claimed they were perfect for me. I laughed when I saw the 1,800 price tag. So he thinks I only deserve cheap stuff. Huh, if you don't want to get it for me, Holden, it's fine. Daphne won't be mad. I held back tears, silently cursing this stingy man. May he stay broke forever. No, Daphne. Holden just liked its meaning, but look at this one, the 4-leaf clover bracelet. It has a beautiful meaning too. Let's get this instead. He gritted his teeth and picked up the over 10,000 yuan bracelet, his heart aching at the cost. Does this collection really have such a nice meaning? I asked the sales assistant. Absolutely. Many young couples buy this design. It symbolizes unwavering love and loyalty. Ugh, how shameless, but I have to admit, this collection is pretty popular. It might even appreciate in value. Then I'll take this 5-leaf mother of pearl one. It goes well with my outfit today. Please adjust it to the right length for me. I'll just wear it out. Before anyone could stop me, I had already put on the bracelet worth over 50,000 and let the sales assistant adjust the size. His face turned pale and then flushed, but he was too proud to ask me to take it off. Liana had never received such an expensive gift from him before, and now she was so angry she ignored his desperate, hinting glances. In the end, he fumbled in his bag for a long time before pulling out his credit card to pay. When he walked out, his face was completely dark. I pretended not to notice, carrying the Birkin bag in my left hand and wearing a bracelet on my right the whole time. Oh my god, this trip was totally worth it. By the way, Daphne, what was the gift you prepared for Holden yesterday? Even though Liana was upset, she still managed to throw me under the bus at the last moment. Seems like you left without giving it to him. Since we have time now, why not show it? Holden's really looking forward to it. Holden dropped the act at this point, staring at me with eager anticipation. Well, they were setting me up all along. Didn't Holden say my presence alone was the best gift? This outfit I wore yesterday is straight from the latest runway show, and the full salon treatment for hair and nails cost me a fortune. Trying to get something out of me, not a chance. Watching their faces darken with anger, I could barely suppress my smirk. Rising on my toes, I leaned close to Holden's ear and whispered, "But I told Dad yesterday that I want to marry you," he said, "once you become his son-in-law. The company will naturally be yours," though Liana couldn't make out what I said. She clearly saw Holden's expression shift from stormy to sunny, an irrepressible smile spreading across his lips. "Seeing Daphne doing well is the best gift for Brother Holden," he said with a deeply affectionate gaze. His acting was so convincing that even I had to admire it. What a waste of talent not pursuing a career in showbiz. He could have easily snagged an Oscar with skills like that. I made an excuse to keep browsing. And Holden, worried about spending money, quickly slipped away with Liana, who knows where they went to comfort each other with some cheap, cheesy tactics. None of that was my concern at the moment. I grabbed a quick bite to eat and immediately rushed off to the next store to go on a shopping spree. There are only 3 Lala specialty stores in the city, so I'm trying to buy as much as I can in the next couple of days. The other branches are out of reach, and the online store has purchase limits. I focused on picking up some high-end items and skipped the regular stuff. After all, my budget and energy are both limited. After finishing the last batch of goods, the 2 small 3-bedroom apartments were almost completely packed, leaving only one tidied-up room as my own lounge. Liana has been living it up these past couple of days, seeing my spending of hundreds of thousands. She's been splurging on handbags and traveling everywhere, flooding her social media with one post after another. Let her enjoy spending. If the money isn't saved, she's going to be in for a rough time later. I logged into the second-hand account I pre-registered a couple of days ago, directly used Liana's lifestyle photos to create a wealthy socialite persona, making it easier to sell high-priced items, running 4 or 5 different platforms simultaneously, just waiting for tonight's concert to blow up before going all out. Even managed to sneak back home for another round of craziness. Grabbing anything expensive and portable one more time, also gave Dad a quick call and left him a message. Based on the timeline from my past life, he should be returning home around now. This time, I'll be the one protecting him. Liana and Holden both flaunted their concert tickets and scenes on social media at the same time, so blatantly cozying up together, and I was foolish enough not to notice it in my previous life. Watching her account balance dwindle to just 5 digits. I smirked. "Liana, the more you laugh now, the harder you'll cry later." As the concert reached its climax, the plush toy worn by the superstar on stage unsurprisingly sparked a massive wave of excitement. All Lala online stores sold out instantly, offline specialty shops had lines stretching for blocks, scalpers were everywhere, and prices kept skyrocketing. All night long, my shops were buzzing with activity. Constant inquiries and orders kept pouring in. There were also some pickup orders. I asked Clara if she wanted to take on some side gigs, offering her a 5% commission per order. Payment would be made on the spot, and goods would be handed over immediately upon receipt. Pickup transactions are limited to within the city. She was more than happy to agree, and we quickly reached a deal. For the entire following week, I didn't leave the house except to pick up food deliveries. During that time, Liana, Sasha, and Holden bombarded me with non-stop calls. Good thing I switched to a new phone ages ago. All my accounts are linked to it. They'll never be able to track anything down. The old phone vibrated non-stop in the drawer all day, until it finally gave up and shut down. I watched the stream of notifications showing my negative balance, with only a few small deposits here and there, like finding a needle in a haystack, before it all just evened out again. Seeing the screen flooded with red and the negative numbers climbing higher and higher, you can only imagine how frantic they must be. Sasha felt her body growing heavier over the past 2 days, her entire appearance becoming haggard as if her vitality had been drained. Even a short walk left her breathless, and her skin became wrinkled and dry, convinced she had contracted some serious illness. She kept insisting on being hospitalized for a checkup. Liana, of course, knew exactly why. Her mind had been consumed by the constant sound of spending notifications, making it nearly impossible for her to function normally or even leave the house. She frantically dialed Daphne's number, but no one ever picked up. After breaking into her room, she realized Daphne hadn't been home at all recently. In that moment, she was like a headless fly. Completely oblivious to her mother's cries of distress and Holden's incoming calls, she frantically sold her handbags and jewelry. But the money she got was just a drop in the bucket. It was instantly buried under a flood of green payment notifications. In a panic, she thought of selling her house, but the newly mortgaged property was impossible to sell and wouldn't fetch much money anyway. She tricked Sasha into thinking they were going to the hospital, but after registering, she snatched Sasha's bank card and fled. Unfortunately, Sasha wasn't much of a saver either. The card had less than a few $100,000 left. This doesn't solve her urgent problem at all. What should she do? Wait, the house she's living in now, selling it would definitely be enough. She rushed back home in a panic, only to find that there was hardly anything of value left. The large house wasn't even in their name, it belonged to her stepfather, but now she couldn't even reach her stepfather. He was still abroad. Liana sat on the couch, listening to the system continuously announcing expenditure figures, some large, some small, and quite numerous. She couldn't understand how her good-for-nothing sister had suddenly become so capable to amass such a fortune in such a short time. Finally, a sharp pain shot through her heart, and she spat out a mouthful of blood. The system screen froze, ceasing to scroll, and only after a long pause did it display, "Your request to exchange fates has failed. The penalty mechanism has been activated. You must repay the system assets totaling 13,564, 300 yuan within 1 week. Or face a deduction of twice the amount from your lifespan." That's right, I made 13,564, 300 yuan in just 1 week, barely getting 3 hours of sleep a day. My dear sister, whether you can pay me back or not, my financial luck is finally back in my own hands. Clara also made a small fortune this time, earning several 100,000 yuan, which finally covered her son's surgery expenses. Dad called me as soon as he returned to the country, after seeing my message. He didn't go straight home. Instead, we sat down and had our first proper heart-to-heart talk. He always prioritized business over family and me, and I resented him so much for it, especially after Mom passed away. I couldn't stand the sight of him and made a point of opposing him at every turn. This time, I chose to sit down and lay out the whole story for him. At first, he was just happy to see how much I'd grown, without dwelling too much on how plausible the tale might be. It did sound pretty far-fetched, after all, that is, until he saw Sasha at the hospital, aged decades overnight. Losing 20 years of her life had left her utterly withered, like an elder lingering late into winter, her entire being drained of vitality and color. 3. I thought Dad would divorce Aunt Sasha, but after chain-smoking, he just sent her to a nursing home, apart from paying the regular fees. He never visited her again. Dad also formally gave me everything Mom left behind, including the bank book. He said I had grown up and he felt confident in trusting everything at home to me. I moved back home, and Uncle Wang continued to drive me around. I then learned that Uncle Wang was Mom's childhood friend who never married his whole life because of her. That I could return home in this lifetime was thanks to the good deeds he and Dad had done. After Sasha moved into the nursing home, Liana used her pregnancy as an excuse to marry Holden. Once, when I went back to the neighborhood to pick up some things, I saw them walking from a distance. Holden was supporting a pregnant woman in her 30s or 40s. Aside from her slightly swollen belly, her hair was dull, her eyes were sunken, and she looked haggard and unkempt. I almost didn't recognize Liana. She got hit with a double penalty on top of the massive debt she owes the system. She can barely scrape together enough to dress herself decently. Holden didn't look so great either, lost his source of income and now has to care for an elderly person and a pregnant woman. Guess it's true what they say, every villain meets their match. Later on, Clara reached out and told me there was an apartment in the complex going for a steal. She asked if I was interested, said it was a really good deal. I stayed out of it and had Clara handle the whole thing, paid in full, no financing. Spending money without any constraints feels absolutely liberating. Story 2. At the apprenticeship ceremony, my junior sister rushed ahead of me to kowtow to Ashford. Ashford is the foremost figure in the cultivation world, just one step away from ascension. In my previous life, I was Ashford's sole disciple. During the sect competition, I dominated my junior sister throughout the matches. At the critical moment, my junior sister summoned Ashford's spiritual weapon and stabbed it through my chest. Only after my death did I realize that the junior sister was Ashford's love tribulation. The two of them had long pledged their love to each other in secret. When I opened my eyes again, I turned and took that useless man as my master. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, because although that man is revered as the Grandmaster, he possesses no cultivation whatsoever, but they've forgotten. Cultivators cannot live for 1,000 years, only deities can. Just like in our past lives, junior apprentice Sister Morella stepped ahead of me and immediately knelt down to acknowledge Ashford as her master. Right after the sect leader declared him to be my teacher, the elders present showed slight changes in their expressions. Ashford froze for a few seconds, a hint of secret delight flashing in his eyes. The senior brother beside her quickly reminded her, "Junior Sister Morella, you're kneeling to the wrong person. Master Ashford is Alara's master. The sect leader hasn't announced your master yet." Morella looked up. Why can Alara become the disciple of the #1 cultivator in the cultivation world without even participating in the Ascension Assembly? I refused to accept this. Faced with her questioning, the senior brother hurriedly explained to her The reason I didn't attend the ascension ceremony is because my father was the sect leader of Zhuoshui Immortal sect. On the day I was born, he successfully ascended to immortality. My father became an immortal, and I became an immortal's privileged child. When I was 16, Zhuoshui Immortal sect was annihilated by the demon cult, as my father's eldest disciple lay dying. He entrusted me to the sect leader of Carefree sect, because my father had once saved Carefree sect in their time of crisis. The sect leader remembered this debt of gratitude and specially exempted me from the ascension ceremony, allowing me to become the disciple of Ashford, the foremost cultivator in the realm. Hearing this, Mirella didn't even bat an eyelid. Then I won't accept it either. It's widely said that the Xiaoyao sect is the #1 sect in the world, most particular about fairness and justice. Yet they'd stoop to such dirty tricks as backdoor dealings. Mirella was the only one who passed the Ascension Assembly trials and was also the candidate the sect leader favored. The sect leader had long decided that I would become Ashford's disciple, while he would take Mirella as his own one. Who could have expected this to happen today? The sect leader said, displeased. In the Carefree sect, it has always been the master who chooses the disciple, even if you're unwilling. You have no other choice, Mirella said, aggrieved. I came here to compete for the title of the world's best. Moreover, how can the sect leader be sure that Master Ashford wouldn't be willing to take me as his disciple? At these words, everyone turned their gaze towards Ashford. Facing Mirella's fervent gaze, Ashford actually spoke up. I am willing to accept Mirella as my disciple. This is not what we agreed upon before. Though displeased, the sect leader still offered a compromise. Then I'll trouble you, junior brother. To take 2 disciples this year, Ashford said coldly. My energy is limited, I can only take one, so you just don't want me, is that it? The sect leader's face darkened instantly, ready to explode in anger. I stepped forward at that moment. Sect leader, I also object. Alara has no wish to become Ashford's disciple. Hearing this, Ashford's expression turned grim. He probably never imagined there existed someone in this world unwilling to become his disciple. The sect leader momentarily breathed a sigh of relief. Then who do you want to be your master? I reached out and pointed. I want him. As soon as these words were spoken, the sect leader sat solemnly in the high hall as the white-robed man's hand, toying with a cup, suddenly paused. Though he had already lived for 1,000 years, his appearance remained that of a young man. The sect leader slammed the table. Nonsense. How dare you speak of ancestor Xander like, I will. The handsome man's voice was deep as he gazed straight at me. I'll take you as my disciple. After Mirella and I paid respects to our master, we were immediately driven away by the sect leader. My senior brother chased after us. Junior sister Alara, how could you be so foolish? Choosing Patriarch Xander as your master is such a waste of your exceptional cultivation talent. My senior brother looked utterly dismayed, pounding his chest in frustration. Can't blame him, because of my father. I was born with immortal bones, and my aptitude is exceptional. No matter who I take as my master, with just a little guidance, I have the chance to break through to the virtual core stage. For those with talent, breaking through to the virtual core is easy, but to progress further, one must take a master with superior cultivation. In the Carefree sect, no one has higher cultivation than Ashford, no one is lower than Xander. Xander is called the ancestor because he was the fellow disciple of the master's master's master. Those who shared the same sect with him either ascended or have already fallen. Although Xander's age is evident, it's well known that he possesses no spiritual power, useless except for longevity, just a mascot in the Xiaoyao sect. So when they learned I wanted to apprentice under him, my senior brother and the elders were all shocked. They'd gladly find an ox to drag me away. Even Mirella said, Alara, I really don't know if you're willingly degrading yourself or just being too arrogant. I glanced at her. None of your business. Mirella's expression changed, just about to get angry. Then we heard Ashford call her name, and she immediately put on an obedient expression, followed Ashford, and left. The senior brother watched her retreating figure with admiration, remarking, in thousands of years, she's the only one who dares to defy the sect leader. Tell me, what extraordinary qualities does this Mirella possess to earn such high regard from Elder Ashford? In today's cultivation world, the Xiaoyao sect reigns as the foremost sect precisely because of Ashford, their ultimate weapon. Yet Ashford has an eccentric temperament, wholly devoted to immortal cultivation. After breaking through to the Mahayana realm, he found the heights unbearably lonely. If it weren't for the sect leader pleading with him 3 times and threatening to cut off his spirit stones, he would never have agreed to take me as his disciple. In my previous life, this exact same scene had occurred. I fell for Ashford the very first time we met. In this world, it's not uncommon for masters and disciples to form romantic bonds, so from the very beginning, I wanted to become his disciple. At that time, Mirella refused to accept it. So I simply beat her into submission and successfully became Ashford's apprentice, but I never expected that Ashford didn't actually want to take me as his disciple. Compared to a privileged immortal like me, Ashford found women like Morella who climbed up from the bottom more admirable. As Ashford's disciple, when he says one I naturally wouldn't dare say two, I love and respect him, yet he always treats me with icy indifference. As a master, one should bestow spiritual artifacts upon their disciples, for direct disciples in particular. The spiritual artifacts given are treasures hard to find between heaven and earth. Spiritual artifacts are already useless to someone of Ashford's cultivation level. I had thought he would give me his life-bound spiritual artifact. In the end, he just had my senior brother take me to the warehouse to casually pick a spiritual weapon. Although he didn't care much about me as his disciple, I still managed to break through to the virtual core stage in just 1 year. That day I was overjoyed, even forgetting to fly, and ran straight to tell Ashford the good news. And it happened right in Ashford's courtyard, the place he wouldn't allow me to step into. I saw Morella reciting incantations to fly on her sword. Ashford was guiding her gently from the side, and in those eyes was a tenderness I would never see in this lifetime. Morella said, "Uncle Ashford, if you teach me like this, what if senior sister Alara gets upset?" Ashford's smile faded when he heard my name. "Too, she can't compare to you." Those words hurt more than the sharpest spiritual weapon piercing my heart. From then on, Ashford instructed Morella to stop hiding things. The sect leader harbored resentment and went to talk with Ashford, but he thought it was me who reported it, and punished me by making me kneel at the back mountain for 3 days and nights. I always thought Ashford didn't like me because he believed I couldn't compare to Morella. So on the day of the sect competition, when I encountered Morella, I pinned her down and beat her. I struck until her spiritual weapon shattered and she collapsed to the ground. Just as I was about to stop, Morella began chanting an incantation. A spiritual weapon descended from the heavens. Seeing that spiritual weapon, I was completely stunned. That was Ashford's life-bound spiritual weapon. Only the person who formed a contract with it could wield it. So Ashford had already given his life-bound spiritual weapon to Morella. In my days, that spiritual weapon shattered mine into pieces. Finally, it plunged straight into my heart. Recalling this, it feels as if that spiritual weapon is still embedded in my chest. Just as the pain in my chest flared, someone ruffled my hair from above. Xander's voice sounded ahead of me. "Let's go, little apprentice." Perhaps from living too long, Xander carries an extraordinary aura of immortality beyond ordinary people. To put it bluntly, it's laziness. Too lazy to walk, too lazy to get up, too lazy to tidy the house, too lazy to cook. After having me, he found it exceptionally convenient to order me around, fetching water, chopping firewood, feeding the pigs, and so on. Why is the sacred beast of the Xiaoyao sect's founder a pig? I bathed the pig with dissatisfaction as Xander slowly emerged from the room, holding a bunch of grapes in his hand. He smiled and looked at me for a while, then beckoned to me with his finger. I ignored him. He directly threw the grapes at me. "Come here." My disciple, I thought such an ancient ancestor would be more dignified, but who knew he could be so mischievous? After living together for a month, I've lost whatever respect I had left for him, I said irritably. "Just say what you want to say," Xander said. "Disciple, you've been with me for a month now. Have you made any progress in your cultivation?" "How dare you bring that up? I choose Xander as my master, first, because the place where he lives is the quietest and most spiritually abundant area of the Carefree sect, so I thought cultivating here would be faster. Another reason is that I was reborn and still remember the cultivation techniques from my past life. With my comprehension, I believe I can progress even faster this time. It's truly peaceful here, and indeed, there's no time. These days I've been serving Xander every day, with no time for cultivation at all. I can't be bothered with him." Xander spoke again. "By rights, a master should prepare spiritual tools for their disciple. I've prepared one for you too." Hearing these words, my eyes lit up. I thought to myself, could I have misunderstood Xander? Having lived this long, he must possess a couple of superior spiritual artifacts, so I immediately put down the brush and rushed straight behind him, flatteringly massaging his back. I asked, "What is it, master? What have you prepared for me?" Xander spread his hands, and a white light appeared. A branch appeared in his hand. I waited for a long time. Nothing changed. Still branches, straight branches. I lower my eyes. Xander asks, "Do you like it? What do you think? How can this broken branch be considered a spiritual weapon? It's utterly laughable." I lowered my hand and walked dejectedly toward the pig. Just as expected, there's no point in having any hope for this shameless old thing. There's still time to ask senior brother to find one in the warehouse. "Don't like it? It's yours now anyway." With a flick of his hand, Xander stuck the branch to my waist. 2 days later, I went to ask senior brother for the spiritual weapon. Just entering the warehouse, Morella came over with several senior sisters. She saw me. "Senior sister Alara, I heard the ancestor gave you a peerless spiritual artifact. Quick, show it to us. In this lifetime, there's no obstacle from me." Ashford had long since made his life-bound spiritual artifact form a contract with the junior sister. The smug look on her face told me she came here deliberately to show off. Several senior sisters nearby couldn't stop grinning. We've truly never seen Elder Xander's spiritual artifact before. Could it be an ancient relic? Knowing they were looking for trouble, I turned to leave. Unexpectedly, Mirella grabbed my arm. "Why are you running? Didn't you hear senior sister talking to you?" I chuckled lightly. Who's calling him senior sister? I was personally accepted by Patriarch Xander. Even the sect leader has to address me as Grandmaster. You dare claim to be my senior sisters? That's some audacity. Hearing this, the senior sisters' expressions turned extremely unpleasant. The carefree sect places utmost importance on respecting teachers and upholding traditions. After the insult, I immediately tried to flee, but Mirella instantly teleported right in front of me. Only then did I realize how much her skills had improved. Mirella blocked my path and chuckled. "Alara, did you really think we cared about that Xander? He's just a mortal who's lived a bit longer without spiritual power. Today, you must show me that spiritual artifact." After speaking, Mirella raised her hand, and a peerless sword descended from the heavens. This is Ashford's destined spiritual artifact, the first spiritual sword between heaven and earth. When this sword is drawn, thunder rumbles across the horizon. The crowd gasped in awe. Mirella has actually mastered spiritual swords to such an extent already. Incredible. It seems she'll reach the Void Core stage very soon. Alara is done for. With just the items given by Patriarch Xander, how could she possibly defeat the world's top spiritual sword? Listening to these words, Mirella's face was filled with smug satisfaction. "Alara, take this," with a wave of her hand. The spirit sword thrust straight toward me. I wanted to run, but that was the #1 spirit sword. How could I possibly dodge it? I stood frozen in place, unable to move. Just when I thought my life would end like this, that branch flew out from beside my waist, directly blocking the sword chi of the spirit sword. The two spiritual weapons clashed against each other, with a loud snap sound. The spirit sword couldn't withstand the branch's attack and fell to the ground, in an instant. Shattered into pieces, saw their spiritual weapon shattered into fragments. Mirella's eyes widened in shock. She exclaimed in disbelief, "How is this possible? How could a mere broken branch possess such power?" I was also shocked. That branch flew through the air right in front of me. Though it had no face, I felt it stretch lazily, as if it had fought an unsatisfying battle. I spread open my hands, and the branch slowly settled into my palm. I caressed it tenderly, feeling surges of spiritual energy flowing into my body. "Mirella, you must accept your defeat gracefully." I retracted the branch and turned to leave after saying those words. Unexpectedly, Mirella's face was filled with hatred. "You think you can just walk away after breaking my spirit sword? It won't be that easy." She recited an incantation and struck towards me with her palm. Just as she was about to touch me, a golden sword aura suddenly appeared. Mirella was injured by the sword aura. She flew midair, and Ashford arrived just in time to catch her. I'll look back. Ashford held Mirella horizontally in his arms and landed slowly. Mirella spat out a large mouthful of blood directly. "Master, your disciple is useless. I failed to protect the spirit sword." Ashford looked up at me with eyes cold enough to kill. I remember in my past life, I knocked Mirella to the ground. He looked at me the same way. That was the moment I realized, no matter how hard I try, could never compare to Mirella's place in his heart. "So you're this strong, let's have a fight then." Ashford began channeling his energy. 3. I felt the spiritual artifact at my waist starting to stir, but I knew it clearly. No matter how powerful a spiritual artifact is, it's no match for a Mahayana cultivator. When war was on the verge of breaking out, Xander approached slowly. "Ashford, are you going to fight a little girl?" I turned around and saw Xander riding his little pig slowly approaching us. Ashford withdrew his gesture, yet he still didn't take this so-called ancestor seriously. "It was your disciple who destroyed my spiritual artifact. Was I wrong to teach her a lesson?" Xander slowly came to a stop in front of me while riding a pig. "Since it was my disciple who destroyed your disciple's spiritual artifact, then you, as the master, should come to me." "The master?" Ashford narrowed his eyes. "You want to fight me?" I watched Xander's receding figure. The wind billowed his cyan robe. In that moment, I truly wondered, perhaps Xander, like this sword he gave me, is a peerless master hidden in plain sight. Perhaps he has already become an immortal, staying here just for fun. A touch of emotion welled up in my heart, but until the red aura began to condense around Ashford's body, Xander just shook his head. "Why must everything be about fighting? Since my disciple destroyed your spiritual artifact, I'll compensate you with another one. No need for violence, no need for anger." Me. Xander brought Ashford back to his residence. The moment he opened his treasure vault, the light emitted by thousands of spiritual weapons blinded everyone. Inside, they saw top-grade spiritual weapons neatly arranged together. Any spiritual artifact inside is superior to Morella's spiritual sword. A word inexplicably popped into my mind. Poor students have the most stationery. Xander leaned lazily against the doorframe, spreading his hands. Take your pick. Morella's eyes couldn't conceal their greedy glint upon seeing so many spiritual artifacts. After all, before reaching the Mahayana stage, spiritual artifacts remain the most crucial tools for cultivators in battles. In the end, Morella joyfully selected a purple sword and left. As she departed, her grin stretched nearly to her ears. I looked at her, feeling somewhat angry. Xander seemed to notice my displeasure. He said lightly to me, "The Linyuan I gave you is not a spiritual artifact." I froze. "Then what is it?" Xander said. "It's an immortal artifact. Weapons are categorized into ordinary weapons, spiritual artifacts, immortal artifacts, and divine artifacts, but the mortal world only has ordinary weapons and spiritual artifacts. Immortal and divine artifacts are things of legend." I think Xander is talking nonsense, but looking at his expression, it feels genuine. With Linyuan by my side, I started practicing the techniques Ashford taught me in my previous life late at night. Unexpectedly, as soon as I began, I saw Xander standing not far away. I withdrew my hand gesture. "Why aren't you sleeping?" Xander said. "Stop practicing this technique. It's not suitable for you." He wasn't wrong. In my previous life, after breaking through to the virtual core stage, I felt this technique was no longer useful to me. "But," I said, "I don't know how to do anything else." Although my father was the sect leader of the Zhuoshui immortal sect, he ascended to immortality when I was born. I possessed immortal bones, but my mortal mother's body couldn't withstand it. She exhausted her strength giving birth to me and passed away. Although my father's eldest disciple doted on and loved me, he refused to teach me my father's cultivation techniques. He wouldn't let me call him senior brother. Even when I was young, he brought back a woman. He taught her all my family's cultivation techniques. Everyone in Zhuoshui immortal sect superficially respected me, but treated that sister more like the sect leader's daughter. Before reaching the foundation establishment stage, I had to secretly teach myself everything. After coming to the carefree sect, every school's techniques here counteract each other. Only Ashford taught me a little bit. Now that I've become Xander's disciple, he has no spiritual power at all and lacks the ability to teach me. Everyone says I'm exceptionally talented, yet no one wants to teach me. Xander frowned slightly after hearing my story. He waved his hand. "Follow me." I followed him into a secret chamber. Only then did I realize, beyond spiritual artifacts, Xander has collected more cultivation techniques. He searched inside for a long time, and finally gave me a book. "This one suits you. Practice it well, and in time you will surely achieve great mastery." I looked at the book, then at Xander. He leaned against the door, a smile playing on his lips. My heart skipped a beat. Xander didn't lie to me. Practicing the techniques from that book, in just half a year, I progressed from foundation establishment to nascent soul. This speed is unprecedented and unparalleled in the cultivation world. Although Xander lacks spiritual power, he has a deep understanding of cultivation techniques. He always watches me practice from the side, offering guidance whenever I make mistakes. I feel this cultivation technique suits me perfectly. Ask him, "Where did this cultivation technique come from?" Xander pointed to the sky. "It came from the heavens." I laughed. "You're right, keep bragging." It wasn't until I reached the nascent soul stage that the Xiaoyao sect realized their ancestral founder wasn't just a mascot. He possesses no spiritual power, yet wields spiritual artifacts and cultivation techniques. The reason he didn't show it before was because no one respected him. Correct, even though he's called the ancestor, yet not a single person genuinely respected him. Even the sect leader only summoned him for important occasions when remembered. If forgotten, so be it. After Xander's reputation spread, more people came seeking to become his disciples. But Xander's seniority is too high. He won't take on disciples anymore. Just gives some lectures, teaching theoretical knowledge. Among them, Morella is the one who runs around the most. It's true that Ashford is the #1 in the cultivation world, and he's also brought Morella to the golden core stage, but compared to me, it's simply not impressive enough. Morella was impatient for success, pestering Xander daily for cultivation techniques. Xander disliked her and directly sent her away. Yet Morella immediately knelt and kowtowed. I begged the ancestor to teach this unworthy disciple. This scene happened to be witnessed by Ashford, who came looking for her. Seeing this scene, his face darkened completely. He turned and left in anger. Before I could finish enjoying the spectacle, the sect leader summoned me. They say there are demon beasts causing trouble in the northwest, and asked me to assist my senior brother in subduing them. Hearing this, I immediately got excited. After practicing against thin air every day, I finally have a chance to show my skills. These puny demon beasts are no match for me. After defeating the demon beast, my senior brother and I spent 2 months playing at the foot of the mountain before returning. Just as I entered with the gift I bought for Xander, I caught a whiff of blood in the air. Xander was leaning weakly against the bed with pale lips while the sect leader fed him medicine. Xander asked weakly, "Please don't tell Alara about this," I interrupted. "Don't tell me anything." Xander froze. He looked up at me and gave me a weak smile. "You're back." His appearance was truly unsightly. He was riddled with illness, a far cry from his former immortal demeanor, yet tears welled up uncontrollably in my eyes as I asked him, "Who did this to you?" Xander laughed. "I encountered a wild boar while hunting." "Nonsense. Xander is so lazy. How could he possibly go hunting?" "Xander, that pig isn't even a pig at all." "But the legendary divine beast Lily, with this thing by Xander's side. How could an ordinary wild boar possibly harm him?" Xander knew he couldn't hide it from me at all, so it was Morella who did this. She heard Xander had a secret chamber for storing martial arts techniques and kept pestering him to let her see it. Xander treasures his baby dearly, making it impossible for her to enter, so Morella took action against Xander, who had no spiritual power. She injured Xander but was struck by the arriving sect leader. Now Morella has been placed in confinement. After hearing this, I grabbed Lin Yuan and went to confront her. The sect leader stopped me and told me she was Ashford's disciple. Whose disciple she is doesn't matter now. I fumed. She injured Elder Xander. This is outright betrayal of her master and ancestors. The sect leader hesitated, but Ashford insists on protecting her. If we push Ashford too hard and he leaves the carefree sect, what then? So we're just letting it go like this. Isn't the carefree sect supposed to value righteousness the most? Don't they emphasize respecting teachers and upholding moral principles? It's just that Ashford is the top cultivator, while Xander is merely an ancestor without spiritual power. I take a few steps back. Can't believe it. This is what I've been pursuing. This is the sect leader I respect. How could this happen? How can this be allowed? Xander said to me. "Forget it, Alara. I'm fine. I won't accept this. I refuse to accept this." I picked up Lin Yuan again and walked straight out. To hell with the #1 cultivator, even if it's the only god in the 9th heaven. I also want to seek justice for Xander. Today, either Morella dies or I perish. In an instant, dark clouds gathered outside, and thunder rolled across the sky. The sect leader gathered his energy. Just as he was about to forcefully suppress me, the senior brother rushed over in panic. No good. Morella has run away. Ran away. I immediately chased after her. A hole was blasted through the dungeon. I asked my senior brother, which direction did they run? My senior brother shook his head, couldn't see clearly, but Uncle Ashford has already given chase. The sect leader said Ashford would definitely bring Morella back, but I'm not so sure about that. Only I, who have experienced the previous life, know how important Morella is to Ashford. Even if she wanted the moon in the sky, the other would pluck it down for her. I began taking care of Xander in place of the sect leader, while applying medicine to him. The wounds on his body made me realize he must have suffered more than just a slap from Morella. Those wounds made me sad. Xander saw my expression. "Don't you dare cry. I've got nothing left to comfort you with." I pouted. "If you can't win, why not just run?" Xander said. "I can't outrun them either. I'm unhappy." "How on earth have you managed to live all these years?" Xander looked up at the sky. "I wonder about that too. Honestly, I think I'm quite cowardly. All these years, I haven't even dared to die." This was the first time I saw a look of desolation in Xander's eyes. He's been living alone in this world for so many years, witnessed many people leaving him behind, yet he lacked even the courage to die. I comforted him. Not everyone should be expected to have the courage to die. Xander ruffled my hair. "Aren't you curious about my past?" "I am, but I didn't know how to ask." To me, Xander is quite mysterious. He has no spiritual power, yet he can tame divine beasts and possesses so many spiritual techniques and mental cultivation methods, and he's lived for so long. You should know, although cultivators live longer than mortals, it's only by an extra 100 years at most. In 200 years, one either ascends or falls, but no one knows Xander's age. Xander laughed. "Actually, I'm not as old as you imagine, and I can die too." I asked. "When?" Xander said. "When she comes. I wonder who the she is." But Xander stopped answering my questions, demanding to go to sleep. "I don't want him to sleep. Keep asking him." "Got tired of asking," Xander said. "He was my former apprentice." I chuckled lightly. "You're kidding me. Who else would recognize an ethereal spiritual root like yours as a master besides me?" Xander sulked. "Fine, don't believe me then." He rolled over, but suddenly, my heart felt hollow. Is Xander's disciple really that good? To think he still can't forget about it. For the next 3 months, there was no news of Morella and Ashford. 3 months later, the sect's grand competition. All cultivation sects have arrived at the carefree sect. I've also broken through to the nascent soul stage. Reaching the deity transformation realm, my cultivation speed astonished everyone, leaving my peers far behind. The final day of the sect competition, I asked Xander if he wanted to come watch me fight. Xander chuckled, "Kids fighting, I'll pass." I wanted to argue back, but he had a point. To him, we were nothing more than children, yet he still came that day, lounging lazily in the first-class seat, with an utterly harmless expression, when sparring with senior brother. I realized something was wrong after just 2 moves. I mustered my strength and pointed Lin Yuan at him. "You're not my senior brother. Who are you?" The senior brother let out an unpleasant laugh as one hand tore through his face, revealing a familiar face. "It's actually Mirella, long time no see, Alara." I saw the bright red mark on her forehead and immediately sensed something was wrong. "You've actually turned to demonic cultivation." Mirella burst into laughter. I was a demon from the very beginning. Suddenly, I thought of the Zhuxue immortal sect, thought of how my senior brother was severely injured protecting me, thought of those rivers formed by flowing blood, the hatred of slaughtering one's family. My eyes turned red, and the Lin Yuan in my hand trembled, sensing my fury. "Today, I shall use your blood to pay tribute to elder brother and the others." I charged directly at her, but Mirella knocked me to the ground with a single palm strike. Only then did I realize she wasn't at the Golden Core stage at all, she was at the Great Ascension stage. In this world, there are 2 Great Ascension cultivators. One is the world's top cultivator, Ashford. There's also the demon sect leader Sabrina. I suddenly realized, "You're the demon sect leader. Having immortal bones truly makes you extraordinary." Sabrina clapped her hands, licking her bewitching lips. "It took me 50 years to reach the nascent soul stage. Yet you achieved it in 3 months. Your flesh and blood must taste absolutely delicious." Rumor has it that Sabrina's cultivation technique involves devouring others' power for her own use. I asked her, "You've already reached the great vehicle realm, why come to my carefree sect?" "Of course, it's for you," Sabrina told me. "I need your immortal bones." Suddenly I understood why Sabrina kept trying to kill me in my past life. She wanted to harvest my immortal bones all along. Sabrina's appearance has attracted the attention of many people. I saw all the monks pick up their spiritual weapons, eager to try and eliminate this demon. But how could Sabrina possibly come alone? The clouds piled up heavily, the sun obscured by dark clouds. Strange noises came from outside the door as demonic cultists burst in. How could this be? How did the demonic clan break the seals of the carefree sect? Could someone have leaked the secret? Only the elders know the method to break the Xiaoyao sect seal, and the elder closest to Sabrina. There's only that one. The battle is imminent. I look towards Xander's position. I realize he's disappeared at some point without me noticing. Gone. Good riddance. This way, fighting won't be distracting. I picked up Lin Yuan. I know my current cultivation stands no chance against a Mahayana cultivator, but I still wanted to have a fight. Sabrina swiftly knocked me to the ground. I lay on the ground. Vomiting a mouthful of blood, Sabrina walked towards me and said, "Taking your immortal bones was such a hassle, this sect protecting you, that sect leader forbidding it. I had to pretend for so long, but it wasn't a complete waste here. I quite like those spiritual artifacts." Clutching my chest, I asked, "What do you mean? You slaughtered my sect just for me?" Sabrina said, "What else? Just slaughtering for fun. When your senior brother died, it was truly a sight to behold. He wouldn't let us learn the techniques, yet cultivated a replacement for you. Otherwise, why would it have been so difficult for me to find you?" My entire heart trembled. "So it was like this. It was actually like this. The elder Marshall brother did everything for me." I remember how the elder Marshall brother looked when he died, filled with indignation, struggled to get up and picked up the sword again, shouting loudly, "Come, today either you die or I perish." Knocked down, gets back up, again. Fall down, get up, come. Finally, I coughed up mouthfuls of blood. Sabrina waved her hand dismissively. "No time to play with you." She walked toward me, intending to directly take my immortal bones. At this very moment, the sect leader shielded me. Beneath the great vehicle, there is no match. Yet Sabrina effortlessly broke through his boundary. The sect leader said to me, "Alara, run. You are the hope of the carefree sect. Run." I watched as the sect leader withstood Sabrina's impact for me. The heart feels somewhat complicated, the scent of blood in the air grows heavier. Sabrina's palm pierced through the sect leader's chest. 5. She greedily drained the sect leader completely. My heart ached. Sect leader, sect leader. The sect leader's last act before closing his eyes was still urging me to run, but I could no longer move a muscle. Sabrina came towards me again. I closed my eyes and waited, but this time, someone stood in front of me again. It was actually Ashford. Ashford, dressed in tattered clothes, said to Sabrina, "Sabrina, it's not too late to turn back." Sabrina grew furious. "You're going to stop me too." Ashford bit his lip. "Evil will never triumph over good." What a fine saying, "Evil will never triumph over good." Sabrina laughed wildly. "But who decided you're the good and I'm the evil?" Ashford may be aloof, but years of proper education have taught him right from wrong. What is right and what is wrong? Ashford lamented bitterly. As an elder of the carefree sect, I cannot stand by and watch you destroy our sect. Sabrina, don't persist in your mistakes. If you wish to ascend, I can accompany you. Don't continue down this wicked path, Sabrina said. What a great way to accompany my cultivation. Do you really want to accompany my cultivation, or do you want me to accompany you through your love tribulation? Ashford was stunned. I was also stunned. So Sabrina turned out to be Ashford's love tribulation. No wonder, Ashford murmured. You actually knew and still. Ashford, you call yourself a righteous man and label me as a heretic, but how much more righteous are you than me? Didn't you know all along that I was from the demon clan, yet you kept me in the Xiaoyao sect and took me as your disciple? Wasn't it just to use me to overcome your love tribulation? How much nobler are you than me? I looked up, can't believe my ears. Ashford already knew Morella was Sabrina, yet he still left her at the carefree sect. This realization made the pain in my chest grow sharper. Ashford turned pale at her words as he began chanting incantations. Suddenly, he turned back and glanced at me. He whispered softly, I was wrong before. I froze in surprise. Somehow I feel this sentence was directed at me. What's wrong? Now I shall take you down. When two Mahayana cultivators fight, heaven and earth tremble. Sabrina quickly found herself at a disadvantage. Ashford finally pinned her down, his hands gripping her neck. Sabrina's gaze suddenly softened with tenderness. Ashford, kill me. I'm willing to die by your hand. This thing called love, the hardest to control. Ashford's heart softened, the strength in his hands gradually loosening. At that moment, Sabrina seized the opportunity. Summon a spiritual weapon and pierce Ashford's heart with a single sword strike, just like how you pierced my heart back then. Sabrina absorbed his cultivation. After absorbing it, Sabrina's entire body began glowing with red light. The sky was dyed red for half its expanse. Sabrina ascended. This fact made everyone stop what they were doing. She laughed wildly. It's broken. I've finally broken through the Mahayana stage. How could this happen? Oh my god, why are you helping this she-devil? The smell of blood in the air grows heavier. I looked at the sect leader and Ashford lying on the ground. A wave of sorrow welled up in my heart. Sabrina turned her gaze to me again, slightly raising her hand as a shockwave came at me. Let's see who can stop me from killing you now. No one can stop someone who has broken through the Mahayana realm. I closed my eyes. I feel like I might die. Just before dying, I still wanted to see that person one last time. The imagined impact never struck me. All I heard was a pig squeal. Witnessed a scene that made my scalp crawl. The Lily was knocked to the ground by spiritual energy. Xander was lifted up by Sabrina, who was choking his neck. I shouted excitedly, Xander, what brings you here? He possessed no spiritual energy whatsoever. Coming here is asking for death. Sure enough, Sabrina just threw Xander right in front of me. He was already unable to move. Xander coughed, blood soaking his chest. He gave me a bleak smile. No, I'm really going to die. My whole heart was wrenched. I said, no, you can't die. You haven't waited for that person yet. How can you die? Master, you must not die. My tears fell like pearls. Images of Xander in all his forms flooded my mind. Lazy, smiling, earnest. I realized it belatedly. I had long harbored unusual feelings for Xander. Xander reached out, his fingertips wiping away my tears. Alara, don't cry. Do you want to kill her? I'll help you. No, I want you to live. I just want you to live. If you can survive. Xander let out a light laugh, flicked his wrist, and sent Lin Yuan flying into the air. Then it plunged straight into his chest. No, I went straight to pull Lin Yuan, but no matter how hard I tried, it wouldn't budge. Xander smiled at me. Don't cry, a goddess must not weep. The sect leader is dead, Ashford is dead, now Xander is dead too. More and more people are dying. I felt my heart stop for a moment, only to beat even faster the next instant. My entire body grew hot. Trembling all over, I was enveloped by a divine force, lifting me upward. The moment countless divine powers surged into my body, I simultaneously received endless memories. Strange phenomena suddenly appeared in the sky, golden and purple lights connected as one. All cultivators were stunned by my transformations, until an elder exclaimed, It's the Divine Maiden. This is the Divine Maiden. Hasn't the goddess already vanished for 1,000 years? How could she reappear in the mortal realm now? So I was never an immortal bone to begin with, I am a divine bone. That's why my cultivation progressed so rapidly. The wounds on my body have completely healed. Landed in front of Sabrina, slowly opening my eyes. Sabrina's face looked terrible. What goddess? I think it's just a gimmick you made up. Prepare to die. She came running towards me holding the spiritual artifact. I waved my hand lightly. Sabrina instantly spat out blood. She now believes I'm the Divine Maiden. Instead, she burst into laughter. You're a goddess, then you must have divine bones? Perfect. If I eat divine bones, wouldn't I become a goddess too? She tried to get up, only to discover her fingers had turned to ash. Then the whole person was like dust. A gust of wind blew, and it scattered away. What kind of thing? How dare you question the power of the gods? I raised my hand and chanted an incantation, enveloping those people in white light. The wounded slowly began to heal. Witnessing this, someone froze in shock. 6. Fall prostrate to the ground. We humbly welcome the goddess's descent to the mortal realm. One voice rises, 10,000 voices respond. Welcome the goddess descending to the mortal realm. The voice grew louder and louder. I heard the mountains and the sea roaring as well. I paid no attention to these people. Transformed into a streak of white light, soared to the 9th heaven. I am a goddess, yet not divine. My master Xander is the only true god in this world. He dwells in the highest heavens, teaching me his skills. One day I sneaked down to the mortal realm and caused trouble by altering someone's fate. The heavens were enraged, stripped me of my divine powers, and erased my memories. As punishment, the heavens condemned me to suffer through 1,000 years of mortal trials, enduring hardship in every lifetime. Because of me, my master also descended to the mortal world. He possesses divine memories but lacks divine powers. He could only wait for me in the mortal realm for 1,000 years. He couldn't actively seek me out, only I can seek him out. Every century, a cultivator with immortal bones enters the carefree sect, yet without exception, not a single one has taken Xander as their master. No one was willing to approach this person who had only appearance but no abilities. Thus, Xander lived alone for 1,000 years, over the millennia. He wrote down all the cultivation techniques he remembered into books. He collected spirit stones to craft spiritual artifacts, waiting and waiting. Finally waited for a little one named Ilara. According to fate, I cannot take him as my master. He also mentally prepared himself for 10,000 years of waiting. Every single time, he watches me die miserably. He can't bear it, can't endure it. But he also knew that if he intervened, I would only face greater divine punishment. Another disciple selection ceremony. He wondered whether to play some tricks, maybe even use his charm. But this time, the little girl named Ilara was determined, pointing and saying, I want him, the 9th heaven. Everyone congratulated me. I hastily thanked him and hurried away, arriving at the familiar residence. I finally caught sight of that well-known figure from behind. Xander, dressed in a blue robe, was pinching fish food to feed the fish. I ran over and called out to him, Xander. Xander turned his head. No respect for seniority. You should address me as master. I don't want to call you master. Ran straight over and wrapped my arms around his waist. Called out to him again, Xander. Xander patted my head. Welcome home. The end. Story 2. When the apocalypse arrives, the entire city is plunged into a survival crisis due to the extreme cold. I am a live streaming host who promotes instant food products. Usually, my house is filled with all kinds of instant food, which would have been enough for my sister and me to survive the apocalypse. However, my sister wants to gain popularity through apocalypse-themed food live streaming and insists on live streaming at home, ultimately bringing disaster upon us. 01. According to the monitoring by the Meteorological Bureau, heavy to blizzard conditions will occur in the next 2 weeks. Citizens are advised to keep warm and take precautions against the cold. As the weather warning was being broadcast, I pushed open my sister's door. Jade, have you seen the report? Should we stock up on supplies before the blizzard? My sister, with her double ponytails and wearing a sky blue short skirt school uniform, was winking at the camera in front of the computer screen. Sister is here. Say hello to everyone. She's always so busy that she doesn't even have time for me at home. Seeing me arrive, the popularity of the live streaming room instantly increased. My sister affectionately pulled me over and smiled at the camera. Okay, I won't show you anymore. We're going to talk about our little sisterly secrets. I'll be right back. As soon as she paused the live streaming screen, her sweet smile instantly turned into impatience. My sister rolled her eyes at me. Are you blind? Can't you see I'm live streaming? I'm already used to my sister's two-faced behavior. Sorry, I didn't notice. I just saw on the news that it's going to snow soon. My sister didn't care and casually picked up the foundation to touch up her makeup. What's the rush? It's not like we don't have food at home. We definitely have enough food. I just want to buy some more drinking water and quilts. I can't carry them by myself. If you're not too busy with your live streaming today, could you accompany me to the supermarket? I don't know which word of mine was wrong, but my sister was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, instantly flying into a rage. You're a big internet celebrity. People will watch you no matter when you go live. Unlike me, a small live streaming host who rides on your popularity, even if I stream from morning till night, no one will watch, and now you want to waste my time. You're deliberately trying to stop me from becoming famous, as if she hadn't cursed enough. My sister picked up the comb beside her and threw it at my face. The sharp tip of the comb scratched my cheek, but my sister pretended not to see it and turned around to continue touching up her makeup. Go by yourself if you want, I still have to live stream. In my previous life, Jade was just as willful. When she saw that I had a large number of fans, she talked me into taking her along for live streaming, calling me sister all the time. In the live streaming room, Jade squeezed me out of the screen, took the center position for herself, and kept interacting warmly with the bullet comments. Between the lines, Jade deliberately and innocently belittled me, saying that I had never been as good looking as her since childhood, nor as good at studying. I was unknown at school. And it was just luck that I caught the wave of the internet and started food live streaming and restaurant visiting live streaming, earning my first pot of gold. When she saw someone in the bullet comments praise her for being beautiful and say that she could be a beauty live streaming host, Jade couldn't help but look at me triumphantly. From that day on, Jade started a live streaming channel for beauty and skincare. Although she had a delicate and pretty appearance, she was less outstanding among the many beauty live streaming hosts. Later, following my suggestion, she took on the little neighbor girl persona and gained a wave of fans. Before long, some people approached her for product promotion, but I discovered that they were unbranded and uncertified products. I advised her not to accept such commercial orders, but she thought I was jealous of her earning money from advertisements and ignored my advice. After using those products, people's skin conditions deteriorated, and many who placed orders gave her negative reviews. The popularity of her live streaming room plummeted. At first, my fans also went to watch her live streaming, but she completely ignored the bullet comments related to me. Once, she even started cursing. "This is my live streaming room. Please, Haley's fans, get out." With Jade's bad attitude, over time, my fans stopped paying attention to her, and her live streaming room lost all popularity completely, but Jade still held on to the hope, live streaming day and night and having awkward conversations with her few remaining fans. Until the apocalypse arrived, the cold snap quickly swept across the globe, and the blizzard covered up all signs of life. Since most of the products I promoted were instant foods, there were a large number of self-heating pots, instant noodles, and snacks stocked at home. Even if we stayed indoors without going out, we could survive for a long time. One day, Jade had a sudden idea and thought that doing food live streaming at this time would attract more attention. Isn't this a bad idea? Everyone is worried about food right now. If you start food live streaming at this time, aren't you provoking hatred? I thought it was too risky. Although my sister and I didn't often go out due to work requirements and hardly ever met the neighbors in the building, there was still a risk of being recognized. However, blinded by the desire for popularity, Jade never considered that during this special period, any resources revealed would be coveted. My sister started her apocalypse-themed food live streaming. As the harsh weather continued, the number of viewers increased day by day. It not only attracted envy but also a wave of scolding. "Where does the little sister live? Can you sell me some instant noodles and cookies? I really can't afford to eat at home. Please have mercy on me. You have no conscience. There are reports of people starving to death every day now. Is it fun to show off like this? Just keep eating. Why don't you choke to death? Does anyone know how to find her location? With so much food, she should take some out and share it with everyone." Seeing that things were going wrong, I forcefully cut off the network cable in my sister's room to make her stop the live streaming. For this, Jade held a grudge and locked me in the room while I was sleeping. "Haley, you bitch, you're just jealous that I'm more popular than you now. Just fend for yourself in there." 3 days passed, without water and food. I was lying on the bed with pale lips, curled up weakly. Suddenly, there were loud banging sounds outside. The electric saw and hammer alternately struck the anti-theft door, and it felt as if the ceiling was shaking from the impact. It turned out that on the first day my sister started the live streaming, our location had been revealed. Before long, I heard the loud noise of the door being broken down, Jade's screams, cries for help, and the men's curses mixed together, making my head spin. But I didn't have the strength to check the situation. Soon, my room was also broken into. Seeing how weak I was, they didn't bother with me and ransacked the house before leaving. Later, in order to find food, Jade left me and went out alone. "I don't care anymore. I'm going out to find food on my own." Haley, if you want to blame someone, blame yourself for being stupid. If you had hidden the food properly, they wouldn't have been able to loot it so easily. In the end, I starved to death at home. Recalling the experiences of my previous life, I touched the wound on my face and looked at my sister, who was completely focused on live streaming. This time, I'm going to make this ungrateful person pay the price. 02. As soon as I left the house, I immediately contacted a real estate agent. I want to buy a house, a single-family one, away from the downtown area, and it should be available for transaction and occupancy in the near future. Also, it should have the best anti-theft and monitoring equipment. The price doesn't matter if it's a bit higher. Before long, the real estate agent found a suitable property. It was located in the suburbs, with fewer residents, and most of the houses there were bought as vacation villas. I looked around and asked, how about the security system? Don't worry about that. The entrance door and the door to the underground garage passage are made using the most advanced forging technology. Once closed, not even a bomb can blow them open. The real estate agent pointed to the fence surrounding the villa and said, these metal fences are equipped with a sensing system. If someone tries to climb over, the alarm will be triggered immediately, and they use solar energy for automatic power supply, so there's no need for charging. As he spoke, the real estate agent put his hand on the metal fence. As soon as his finger touched the surface, a shrill alarm sounded in the courtyard. The cameras outside the villa can track and monitor according to the source of the alarm. The real estate agent ran into the villa to turn off the alarm, and I followed. As soon as I entered, I noticed 4 large monitors on the wall, showing the images of the 4 sides of the villa. There were no blind spots in the monitoring. The real estate agent explained, a celebrity used to live in this villa. He suffered from nervous breakdown due to stalker fans and was always afraid that someone would sneak into the house, so he had these installed to keep a clear eye on the situation around the house. I asked curiously, are those stalker fans that scary? The real estate agent lowered his voice and started gossiping with me. It said that the celebrity heard a dog barking at night. He habitually reached under the bed to pet the dog and felt a tongue licking his hand. He thought it was the dog, but when he got up the next day, he found that his dog was locked in the bathroom. He sensed something was wrong and immediately ran out to call the police. After searching the house, they actually found a living person under the bedroom bed. After hearing this, I felt a chill down my spine. I couldn't imagine the shock the person must have experienced. No wonder he suffered from nervous breakdown. No one could stand that. This house was bought after that incident and completely renovated inside and out. Later, the owner went abroad to settle down and left the house behind. These devices aren't really needed by ordinary people, and the listing price is several times higher than that of an ordinary house, so it has been idle. Although the price was a bit high, it really saved me a lot of trouble. Good, I'll take this one. As I signed the house purchase contract, I casually made up an excuse. To be honest, I used to have a stalker, and like the previous owner, I have a psychological shadow. I just want to live in a house with strong security, finally getting rid of this extremely secure second-hand property. The real estate agent didn't care about the buyer's psychology or reasons and quickly completed the property transfer. After determining the residence, I started contacting all the food suppliers. With this blizzard warning, everyone will probably stock up on food and drinks during the period of staying at home. As usual, you can just deliver the goods to my warehouse. I looked at the balance in my card. After deducting the money for buying the house, the remaining amount was enough to buy all their products. To avoid others discovering that I had stocked up a large amount of food, I rented a van and transported the goods myself, moving boxes of instant food and long shelf life snacks from the warehouse to the newly bought villa, 500 boxes of self-heating pots, 400 boxes of instant noodles, 350 boxes of compressed biscuits, 60 boxes of chocolate, 80 boxes of dried meat, 150 boxes of meat cans. In one day, I moved 1/5 of the inventory in the warehouse. Under extreme cold conditions, the water pipes will freeze, and it will be impossible to obtain water from the outside. Therefore, bottled drinking water is essential. There is still some time before the blizzard blocks the roads, during which I can move the water gradually. The basement floor of the villa has a private underground garage with a large space. For the convenience of unloading, I stored the food here first. While moving the goods, I found a small utility room in the underground garage that the real estate agent hadn't mentioned. What's even stranger is that the door of the utility room is as thick as a wall. If I hadn't moved the boxes to this corner, ordinary people wouldn't have noticed that there was a door here. I finally managed to push the door open with great effort and discovered that there was a whole other world inside. The utility room was like a small bedroom, with a bed, tables, chairs, and benches. The bed was close to the ground, and all the furniture was made low-lying and solid. The furniture in the entire room was square and everything was in full view. There were 6 monitors installed on the wall directly opposite the bed. When I turned on the power, I was stunned by what I saw. The monitors here were not only connected to the courtyard surveillance but also to every room inside the villa. If the monitors at the main entrance can observe the situation outside the villa, then in this small room, one can keep a close eye on every move both inside and outside the villa. I'm afraid this place was the real bedroom of the villa's original owner. He was really driven crazy, that person. I couldn't help but sigh. Discovering the secret base made me feel more at ease. After all the supplies are moved in a few days, I'll seal the garage door with cement by then. Even if someone manages to enter the villa, if I hide in the underground garage and lock the passage, no one will be able to steal the supplies. 03. As night fell, I returned home. Jade was still live streaming, and from time to time, the sound of her singing came from the room. I moved the bought quilts and bottled water into the living room and then collapsed onto the soft bed. I had exhausted a lot of physical strength today, and soon, I fell into a deep sleep. When I opened my eyes again, it was already noon the next day. I got up, washed up, and saw Jade sitting in front of the TV, eating iced watermelon while watching a drama. Seeing me come out, Jade sneered and said, "Look at the sky outside. There's no sign of snow at all. It's just alarmist talk, only you're stupid enough to believe it." Indeed, the blizzard warning wasn't accurate. The weather wouldn't change at all in the next 2 weeks. It would still be sunny, and the temperature would continue to rise. It wasn't until the 14th day that the sky turned cloudy and light snow started to fall. On the 15th day, the temperature dropped to below zero overnight, and it turned into moderate snow. On the 16th day, the blizzard of the harsh winter arrived. The so-called 2 weeks later was when the real disaster truly began. People caught in the blizzard thought the strange weather would stop soon, so they stayed at home and indulged in eating, completely unaware that what was to follow was the extreme cold apocalypse that would plunge the world into chaos. Until the day I died, the cold storm still hadn't subsided. Right now, Jade was still mocking me. If everyone were as brainless as you, society would be in chaos. To avoid revealing anything, I spoke gently as usual. It's better to be prepared. After finishing the watermelon, Jade left the trash on the table for me to clean up, before going back to her room. She pointed at the quilts piled on the sofa and said in disgust, "My closet is full of clothes. I can't fit such thick quilts. Move them to your room. They're an eyesore in the living room." After she went back to her room, I went out. Today, I'm going to buy heating supplies. The two major problems during the extreme cold apocalypse are food and heating. In the early days of the apocalypse, the power supply was still sufficient. However, with a large number of heating devices operating at full capacity simultaneously, the energy consumption was huge. The overloaded power supply collapsed 3 months after the apocalypse. The newly bought villa is equipped with a photovoltaic generator, which has the advantage of being noiseless and won't attract the attention of the surroundings. However, the maintenance of the generator is a problem. In case the surface is damaged, its use will be greatly restricted. Therefore, I need backup fuel, and coal is essential. I purchased a large amount of alcohol and coal from outdoor supply stores respectively. The delivery address was still filled in as the address of my sister and me. When the express delivery arrived, I would find an opportunity to privately transport the goods to the villa. As expected, these items aroused the curiosity of the deliveryman. "Your family bought so much charcoal. Did you hear about the blizzard and plan to use it for heating the stove?" The delivery guy joked. Seeing him sweating profusely, I asked him to unload the goods directly into the car downstairs and handed him a bottle of water, saying, "While the weather is still good, I made an appointment with friends for an outdoor barbecue. I've also prepared a lot of meat and vegetables. When it gets cold and snows, everyone definitely won't want to go out." "Thanks." The delivery guy wiped the sweat off his face, took a big gulp of water, and then said, "But who would have thought it's almost summer and there could still be a blizzard? I wonder if it's true or not." So far, most people have the same attitude as the delivery guy. They are skeptical and dismissive. Only I know that in the near future, the city's power will run out, and humanity will suffer from hunger and cold. In the early days of the apocalypse, people can still maintain a shred of rationality, but what follows? The harsh living environment will not be alleviated. Instead, it will get worse. Those who still have some kindness left will die early, either turning against each other or biting the hand that feeds them. There are countless poor wretches like me who have been abandoned by their relatives. Just like the falling snowflakes, order will be in chaos, the law of the jungle will return, and violence driven by selfish desires will fill the entire society. Just thinking about the malice I will face makes me shiver, even if I have no intention of harming others. I can't just sit back and wait for disaster. Just in case, I also placed an order for stun guns and crossbows for self-defense. After a few days, all the items I ordered online were picked up, and the previous inventory in the warehouse was also emptied. The new goods from the suppliers arrived soon. Everyone wanted to take advantage of the blizzard hype to sell out their stocked goods. No one knew that I had already modified the sales volume data in the background in advance. The sales volume of one box on the platform would show the data of 10 boxes, and I would pay for the remaining 9 boxes. In this way, the suppliers can receive payment, and no one will find out that I am hoarding food resources. 04. The live streaming product promotion began. Recently, everyone has seen the news, right? There may be extreme weather soon. A few days ago, I specifically contacted the manufacturers and asked them to bring out all their inventory and offer it to the fans in the live streaming room at a bulk price. With the support of the blizzard warning, the viewers in the live streaming room actively placed orders. As soon as the products were put on the shelves, they were quickly sold out, especially the self-heating pots and instant noodles. Seeing the enthusiasm of everyone for stockpiling goods, more and more suppliers contacted me, offering rice, flour, cooking oil, etc. Taking advantage of the hype, various manufacturers took out all their inventory, the warehouse rushed to send out express deliveries, and 90% of the goods I bought were secretly transported to the villa. However, as the weather continued to heat up, restlessness appeared in the live streaming room. Gradually, some people regretted their purchases, saying that they had bought too much on impulse, that there was no room at home to store it all, and that it would take half a year to finish eating it. All the products selected this time are foods with a long shelf life. Don't worry if you bought a lot, just stock them at home and eat them slowly, I said. Out of my last bit of humanity, I still advised the consumers in the live streaming room to keep those foods. Hey, you're scamming your fans. Just then, my sister's voice came from the door. It's just a weather warning. Maybe it will pass in a day or two. Why did you trick everyone into buying so much? As soon as she finished speaking, the bullet comments in the live streaming room exploded. Haha, the host is treating fans like fools. Even people around can't stand it. Today's internet celebrities are so irresponsible. They exaggerate the news and spread alarmist rumors. Don't they just want to make money while taking advantage of the situation? Can't you see? The host is hyping up the situation and harvesting the fans. Don't be fooled, everyone. Cancel your orders quickly. Some old fans who knew me spoke up to defend me, but their voices were quickly drowned out by the doubts. I turned my head and gave Jade a meaningful look. These remarks in the live streaming room were no accident. In my previous life, she also said the same thing. The live streaming room responded quickly, and some people even called the police, claiming that I maliciously spread rumors and created panic. During the filing and investigation stage, my live streaming account was banned. In the period before the apocalypse, a huge amount of negative rumors about me fabricated on the internet emerged. A large number of orders in the live streaming room were returned. To make up for the losses of the suppliers, I had to pay out of my own pocket. On the surface, my sister looked aggrieved and told me that she had accidentally made a joke, but the internet misinterpreted and magnified it. She also advised me not to show up during this period and wait for the situation to calm down. Behind my back, she took advantage of this opportunity to build an image of an upright person. During the live streaming, she pretended to be doing it for the sake of the internet community, as if she was upholding justice by exposing her own relative. When I was locked in the room, dizzy from hunger, and desperately begging my sister, I learned the truth from her. Sister, if you eat one less bite, I can eat one more bite. Don't you understand this? Moreover, it's all thanks to me that we've survived until now. If I hadn't found people to ruin your live streaming, how could there have been so many suckers returning their orders, allowing us to stock up so much food at home? At that time, I slumped on the ground, feeling as cold as if I had fallen into an ice cave. Since we were kids, I had always given in to my sister. As long as she said she liked something, I would give it to her, even if she didn't cherish it after getting it. I never resented her. It wasn't that I couldn't see through her little schemes, but I thought we were family after all. If her career took off, it wouldn't matter if I made some sacrifices. My unconditional tolerance only led to the ungrateful person becoming more and more excessive. In this life, she was repeating the same old tricks, looking at the endless stream of abusive bullet comments, which seemed to be from hired trolls. I straightened myself up and said righteously, "Dear fans in the live streaming room, please trust me. If you think I have committed any illegal or disciplinary violations, you can report me to the platform at any time." There were still people on the bullet comments egging others on and shouting for order cancellations. I have recorded the IDs of these few people who are hyping up the situation and slandering me today. I will call the police as soon as the live streaming ends. Then, I read out the IDs of several people who were spamming maliciously, and the in the live streaming room gradually died down. The future weather changes are unknown. To avoid expanding the impact, I will suspend the live streaming from today, leaving behind an uproar. I ended the last live streaming before the apocalypse. 05. There are still 5 days until the extreme cold apocalypse. No matter what the public opinion is on the internet, it has nothing to do with me. Looking at the shopping list on my phone, I pushed a cart through the department store. Low temperature cannot disinfect or inhibit bacteria. considering the instability of the future living environment. I also bought a lot of disinfectants, coagulants, sanitary napkins, toilet paper, and cat litter. Besides, I bought flashlights, candles, and lighters for lighting. The women's clothing section was already full of summer clothes, and winter clothes were on sale. After the extreme cold arrives, it will be impossible to wash clothes, so it's best to buy more spare clothes now. I bought 10 extra long and thick down jackets, 10 pairs of snow boots, and 20 sets of thermal underwear. I also bought the thickest and warmest scarves, gloves, and socks. While packing the goods, the salesperson complained to me. These items were very popular when the blizzard warning was issued, but it's been over a week now, and not a single snowflake has fallen. I can't even finish processing the return orders these days. After that, the salesperson looked at me suspiciously. "Little girl, can you use up all these?" I had already made up an excuse and calmly said, "These are supplies for the school winter camp. The teacher said it would save some money if we bought them now." Hearing this, the salesperson felt relieved. When passing by the pharmacy, I also bought antibiotics, bandaging tools, anti-inflammatory drugs, painkillers, and various vitamins. After taking stock of the supplies in the villa, I went to the basement floor. Rice, flour, cooking oil, self-heating instant food, high-calorie snacks, as well as barreled water and mineral water piled up like mountains in the garage. I also transferred some daily necessities to the utility room to ensure that I could live normally there. After locking the garage entrance from the inside, I called a decoration team. "I don't need this garage. I plan to convert it into an underground bar. Please seal it up for me." Soon, the garage entrance was sealed with steel plates, cement, bricks, and tiles. And wall panels were installed to prevent mildew and moisture. Just to be safe, I also asked the decoration team to reinforce the windows of the villa and replace each window with bulletproof glass. I'm afraid the bar will be too noisy. This kind of glass has good sound insulation effect. Nowadays, in the suburban villa area, many people have converted their villas into party houses or bars. The decoration team was not surprised by the requirements I put forward. In 2 days, the entire villa was as solid as a fortress, taking advantage of the free time. I logged into my alternate account and entered my sister's live streaming room. I already told my sister that everyone has a hard time, and there's no need to encourage people to buy so much. Isn't this cheating them? Who knew she wouldn't listen and only thought about making money by harvesting fans? I just couldn't stand it. Sure enough, Jade was using me to build her image. I've clearly felt that my sister has changed in recent years, since she gained popularity. She has lost her original intention and is willing to make any kind of money. I've advised her several times in private, but she, relying on being my elder sister and a big internet celebrity, scolded me, asking how I dared to teach her what to do. The more she spoke, the more agreed she seemed, and Jade even shed a few fake tears. Many people in the bullet comments echoed her. I knew it. I've long seen that her character is not good. I feel like the person I hate has finally been discovered by everyone. Some people also spoke up for me. Come on, I've met Haley in person. She's very nice. She even donated supplies to schools in mountainous areas before. How much did Haley pay you? You're still speaking for her. Haha, those people were all brainwashed fans in Haley's live streaming room. I sensed something was wrong when she told everyone to stock up more. I returned all the items I ordered the day before yesterday. When a person's reputation is damaged, everyone is eager to kick them while they're down. With my own sister playing the victim, some people began to believe the so-called negative rumors, and more people were returning their orders. Before this, I had signed contracts with the manufacturers, and I would take over and pay for all the returned goods: self-heating rice, meat cans, compressed biscuits, which are usually eaten less, had the highest return rates. There were also some snacks like cookies, chocolates, and nuts. All the returned food supplies were transported back to the villa by me. It was not until evening that I returned home. 06. Seeing me come back, Jade couldn't hide her guilt. "Sister, are you okay?" I kept my head down and ignored her. "Why did you come back so late?" Jade pretended to be considerate, poured me a glass of water, and said, "I was just about to call and ask if you had eaten. With all the trouble you're in, I've lost my appetite too." Just then, Jade's phone rang. "Miss, your takeout has arrived. Just leave it at the door." Jade hung up the phone awkwardly and said to me, "I haven't eaten all day, so I ordered something casually, just a quick bite. Do you want to eat?" "Sister, I can order another one for you." "I'm not hungry." I shook my head, looking dejected. A lot of people have been returning their orders these days. I signed contracts with them, so I have to bear all the losses. Hearing this, there was undisguised glee in Jade's eyes. "It's okay, you've earned so much money, losing a little doesn't matter, but it's not easy to deal with this public opinion. Don't go online to check during this period." I nodded silently. Seeing this, the corners of Jade's mouth lifted slightly, and she took my hand. "Sister, I've come up with a public relations plan these days. It will definitely help you deal with this crisis. Jade couldn't wait to open her fan data. Sister, look, more and more people are following me these days, taking advantage of this hype. I want to build a good guy image, expose the truth about your negative rumors, and attract the viewers from your live streaming room to my side. When the situation calms down, you can publicly apologize, and then I'll say a few good words for you. Everyone will surely accept it. Seeing that I didn't say anything, the smile on Jade's face gradually faded. Say something. I'm doing this for your own good. I'm your own sister. Would I harm you? Failing to get what she wanted, Jade angrily shook off my hand. Everyone knows I'm your sister. Do you have to drag me down with you when you're in trouble? Haley, ask yourself, did I benefit much from you when you were popular? Now that you're being scolded, why should I be implicated and scolded too? I deliberately kept my sister in suspense and pretended to be in a dilemma as I looked at her. Jade, this happened too suddenly. I want to deal with the inventory in the warehouse first. We can discuss your live streaming later when I have time. By the time we discuss it, it will be too late. Now that everyone is scolding you, you have a topic of discussion. If we wait until everyone forgets about you, we won't get anything. Jade stood up and pointed at me viciously. I'm discussing this with you out of consideration for our family. Do you think you've done something good? You don't even want me to distance myself from you. Haley, what kind of sister are you? You're probably afraid that I'll become more popular than you, so you're deliberately trying to harm me. After saying that, Jade slammed the door and went back to her room. Since that day, my sister unilaterally entered a cold war with me. To avoid arousing her suspicion, just like in my previous life, I moved the inventory from the warehouse back home before the snow fell. 20 boxes of instant noodles, 10 boxes of self-heating hot pots, 5 boxes of ham sausages, 10 boxes of canned goods, and 6 barrels of purified water. After all, without these supplies, Jade wouldn't have the opportunity to do food live streaming and show off. This time, I would create the same conditions for her. I was busy moving things up and down by myself, which attracted the curiosity of many neighbors who asked if I needed help. Thank you so much. My place is at 901. Just help me carry these into the elevator. The news that there was a lot of food stocked in apartment 901 spread quickly in the homeowners group. Jade was completely unaware of this and was busy playing the victim in her live streaming room. Sigh, now my sister completely ignores me. She won't listen to anything I say. Don't blame her, everyone. She was wrong this time, but I will definitely try to persuade her. I hope she can learn from this lesson and be a better person in the future. The live streaming room was filled with words of agreement. It was obvious that Jade enjoyed the feeling of having everyone echo her words. People like her, who take advantage of the situation to incite and engage in profiteering, are the most feared among internet celebrities. Yeah, the blizzard warning has been out for more than 10 days, and the temperature outside is almost 30 degrees Celsius. She was scaring people and encouraging them to hoard supplies. Hey, is it snowing? Damn, it's snowing here too. Could the blizzard warning actually be true? I looked out the window. It was the 14th day since the blizzard warning, and the extreme cold apocalypse was about to arrive. 07. The internet was in an uproar, and news of snowfall in various places topped the trending searches. No one had expected that the blizzard that would sweep the globe was actually coming. Although there were only sporadic light snowflakes at first, it was enough to excite people. Indeed, at first, people were delighted. In the residential area, many adults took their children to the courtyard, and there was continuous laughter and joy in the snow. It's really snowing. Jade came out of her room and asked, "Did you stock up on food at home?" "Yeah, I moved everything from the warehouse back." Jade glanced at the place where the supplies were stacked and said, "Is that all? I thought there would be a lot of returns." "Didn't you promote quite a few brands?" I explained. "I contacted other supermarkets these days and asked them to take most of the goods away. I thought we already had a lot of stock at home, and leaving these would be enough for us to eat for a long time." Jade believed my words and said, "You're right, the snow probably won't last for many days." However, things didn't go as she expected. As time passed, the snow got heavier and heavier. As soon as the snow-clearing trucks left, a new layer of snow would accumulate on the ground. The TV kept broadcasting that in just 2 days, the snow on the roads in some high-latitude areas was difficult to clear, making travel difficult. Everyone was working from home. High-speed railways connecting various places stopped operating, flights were cancelled, and all highways were blocked. More and more people in the residential areas started going out. The continuous days of bad weather made people gradually more alert. All the shelves in the supermarkets were empty, and there were constant group buying requests for meat and vegetables in the homeowners group. Jade still paid no attention to what was happening outside and was fully focused on live streaming. On the third day, the city came to a standstill due to the blizzard, and more people regretted not buying more food from my live streaming room. The blizzard warning turned out to be true. I should have bought 2 more boxes of self-heating hot pots from Haley. Now I can't even order takeout. I'm even worse off. I returned the things I managed to buy. And now there's only 1 bucket of instant noodles left at home. Is there anyone in the live streaming room who can help me out? Sister Jade, ask your sister to resume live streaming. We really have no food left. Jade resisted the urge to roll her eyes and tried her best to soothe the viewers in the live streaming room. Don't worry, everyone, the snow definitely won't last for many days. Are you going to give in to her now? Have you forgotten how she encouraged you to hoard supplies and cheat your money? Exactly. I'd rather starve to death than spend another penny in Haley's live streaming room. Haha, Haley is making a move. She's starting to hire internet trolls to whitewash herself. It's only been a few days since the snow started, and she's already acting out the scene of being slapped in the face and quickly admitting her mistake. Yeah. Some people in the live streaming room are acting too fake. Besides, what's the use of begging Haley now? All the roads are blocked, and not a single express delivery can go out. At that moment, I was lying on the sofa in the villa, leisurely scrolling through the bullet comments in Jade's live streaming room. Early that morning, while vehicles could still move, I drove alone to the villa, from the city center to the suburbs. There were fewer and fewer people, especially at this time. People didn't want to stay far from where others lived. They thought that more people meant more strength, and living with neighbors would allow them to help each other in case of anything. Unfortunately, under the extreme pressure of survival, the cruelty and selfishness of human nature were more chilling than the cold blizzard. Looking at the desolate snow-covered scene outside the car window, I felt as if I were the only human survivor in the extreme cold apocalypse. To avoid going crazy, I had bought a radio, some books, and board games in advance. At this time, both the TV and the radio started broadcasting. The blizzard is here, and the temperature will drop further. Urban traffic has been paralyzed. We urge citizens to reduce travel. Citizens who are outside should keep warm and reach shelters as soon as possible. I muted the TV and radio and then called my sister's phone. It took a while for the call to be answered. Jade, I'm stuck in the blizzard. Can you come and pick me up? I pretended to be anxious and specifically named a shopping mall that was far away. All the shopping malls near home have been emptied. I came here to take a look, but who knew the snow got heavier and heavier, and all the roads are blocked. On the other end of the phone, Jade said impatiently, I can't drive. How can I pick you up? Figure out a way to come back on your own. There's enough food at home. Who told you to go out and buy more? I was afraid the food at home wouldn't be enough for both of us. I don't know how long this snow will last. After hearing my words, Jade thought for a while and said, in that case, I think you should just stay at the supermarket. There must be a lot of inventory there. Then you can buy and eat there, and neither of us will have to worry about starving. I knew she wanted to get rid of me and keep the supplies for herself. That's a good idea, Jade. Take care of yourself at home. As soon as I finished speaking, the call was hung up immediately. I'm afraid Jade will never guess who the one being abandoned really is between us. 08. The underfloor heating and air conditioning kept the entire villa warm. The howling wind outside the window seeped through the cracks, making a sound like the howls of evil spirits, while the water and electricity were still available. I first took out the stored vegetables and meat and made a pot of braised beef with potatoes. When the fragrant rice was ready, a warm mist covered my sight. At first, there were still people braving the snowstorm to earn high delivery fees, but as the snowstorm grew stronger and stronger, even the windows on the first floor were buried by snow. The outside was deserted, and the whole city fell into silence. The only lively place was Jade's live streaming room. Hello, welcome to Jade's live streaming room. Today, we're having spicy hot pot. Jade took out a self-heating hot pot, cooked the ingredients inside, and poured a layer of mashed garlic and sesame paste on top. I've gotten tired of self-heating hot pots these days, so I'm showing you something new. My sister started her apocalypse-themed food live streaming again. To attract attention, she specifically moved dozens of boxes of stocked goods into her room during the period of staying at home due to the blizzard. The gimmick of food live streaming quickly attracted a large number of viewers. The host has so much food at home. I'm so envious. Little sister, you're so foresight. Now I have money but nowhere to buy food. Jade looked complacently and said in a coquettish voice, thank you, babies, for your support. I've always had the habit of stockpiling supplies. I bought a lot of instant food before the blizzard warning. As soon as she finished speaking, some bullet comments exposed her. Aren't these the products promoted by Haley before? After I returned my order, I don't even have anything to eat now. You, the one who caused all this trouble, are cooking hot pot here. I supported you so much and even argued with others online to scold Haley for you. This is so embarrassing." People who had believed Jade's words and returned their orders flooded into the live streaming room to scold her. "How dare you do food live streaming? You're a fraudster. You've ruined my whole family. If we starve to death, you won't be able to live either." Jade finally couldn't hold back and retorted, "It's your own fault for being so stupid and believing everything others say. If you feel sorry for Haley, go freeze to death with her outside. Don't come to my live streaming room to cause trouble." The bullet comments scrolled by quickly. "If it weren't for you stabbing Haley in the back, how could she have been blacklisted all over the internet? This isn't the time for you to ride on Haley's coattails. It's just that Haley didn't bother with you. Haven't you been two-faced all these years? Don't tell me you left your sister outside alone just to take over these supplies. What do you know? She did it willingly. She's my sister, and she was born to take care of me. She should do everything for me. Who are you to tell me what to do?" Jade rolled her eyes and said confidently, "If it weren't for me, my sister's overly kind heart would only let others take advantage of her." Outside the screen, when I heard my sister's words, I couldn't help but recall the miserable situation in my previous life. When there was still a lot of food stocked at home, I would enthusiastically help neighbors who came to ask for help. Even though my sister scolded me for being overly kind-hearted, I would still secretly give away some of my share. But when robbers broke into our house, all the neighbors stayed out of it. Before I died, my weak cries for help couldn't arouse anyone's conscience. That place didn't deserve any kindness from me. Half a month passed, and the weather got colder and colder. The food people had stocked was running out, and there were continuous riots in the city. These days, there were constant messages in the original homeowners group of the residential area. "Does anyone have antipyretics at home? My child has a fever. Please, neighbors, I'm willing to pay 3 times the price to buy some. I'm almost out of cigarettes. Brothers, if anyone has extras, please help me out. I'll repay you in the future." Desperate for vegetables and meat, "We're running out of everything." In the lively group, no one responded. People were either worried about food and the drop in temperature or just casually echoing others, but no one offered help. After all, with the complete loss of supplies, no one knew how long the future days would last. I remember there was a lot of stock in apartment 901. I saw them moving things up and down before the blizzard. They had a lot of food. Soon, the group responded. "Yeah, I even helped them carry a lot of things." There were several big boxes of self-heating hot pots and instant noodles. "I think only 2 people live in apartment 901, right? And they're both young girls. They definitely can't finish all that food. Everyone is in a difficult situation at this time. If anyone has extra supplies, please take them out to help others. We're neighbors and should help each other." Apartment 901. Seeing this, the property management proposed to count the food, medicine, and other supplies of each household. In the apocalypse, those with nothing to lose have nothing to fear. The less supplies a household has, the more confidently they report. Those with stocked supplies, on the other hand, become more cautious one by one. Before long, it was the turn of apartment 901, but there was no response. The property management mentioned me and my sister in the group. "Apartment 901, report the supplies at your place." "Sorry, I'm stuck outside and not at home right now, so I'm not sure about the specific situation." After distancing myself, several people in the group immediately mentioned my sister, asking her to report quickly. "Are you guys crazy? What does the amount of supplies in my house have to do with you? Do I have to give money to someone just because they're poor? Why should I?" Jade finally couldn't take it anymore and started scolding in the group. "A bunch of beggars, get lost." After that, my sister directly left the group. The voices criticizing apartment 901 in the group grew louder, especially from households with food shortages. Those with extra food at home either remained silent or simply said, "There's no need to be so harsh, is there?" Before I could finish reading, my phone rang. It was my sister calling. As expected, she was calling to accuse me. "Are you insane? By saying you're not at home, you've made them all come after me." As soon as she finished speaking, there was a rapid knocking on the door from the other end of the phone. "Apartment 901, I know you have food. Don't be ungrateful," I asked in the group. "And I know you not only have food but also bought a lot of coal. Now I'm hungry and cold. Hand it over if you know what's good for you. Or don't blame me for being blunt." 09. On the other end of the phone, it was noisy, with a mixture of men's and women's curses and pleas. "I'll count to 3, open the door, hand over the food. Little girl, we don't want to force you, have some mercy. Everyone has no extra food left. You have a lot of stock at home, take some out to help us." Jade cursed under her breath. Are these people crazy? They really came here to beg. It seemed that the fuse I set for her had been ignited. There's no food left at my place. My sister stole everything before she left. While shouting at the people outside, Jade whispered to me, quickly tell them that you took all the things at home. I have nothing here. Tell them to go to you for food and leave me alone. It seemed that Jade couldn't handle the situation alone and wanted me to clean up the mess for her again. I smiled and agreed, gave the phone to them. Through the fenced door outside, my sister opened the front door and handed the phone out. I told you there's no food. If you don't believe me, let my sister tell you. The neighbors outside the door were skeptical and waited for me to speak. Jade, everyone's going through a tough time. There's no need to lie about not having food at home. That's not right. I left you dozens of boxes of food. Just share some with everyone. And they definitely won't give you a hard time. Pretending to be an upright person and denouncing one's own relative isn't Jade's exclusive act. Suddenly, the crowd erupted. You heartless little girl, we're old, and we begged you so humbly, but you lied to us. If we starve to death, it'll be all you're doing. Why waste time talking to her? Does she really think I have a good temper? I'll smash her door down. Thud, thud, thud. Loud banging sounds came from the door. Terrified, Jade quickly dragged out tables, chairs, and benches to block the fenced door, locked the main door tightly, and even struggled to push the sofa against it for extra support. Half an hour passed. Seeing that they couldn't break the door down and feeling the cold in the corridor, the people finally left, disgruntled. Before leaving, many of them threatened to come back every day, saying they'd make her life miserable with their noise and see what she could do about it. With the commotion outside dying down for the moment, Jade collapsed to the ground, scared out of her wits. Realizing the call was still connected, she picked up the phone and started cursing at me furiously. Haley, you bitch, you idiot, how dare you say that in front of them? Do you have any brains at all? You're trying to kill me on purpose. I imitated her previous act, pretending to be innocent. Jade, I just thought it was wrong to lie. I didn't expect them to react so strongly. Besides, we have so much food at home, I think it's no big deal to share some with everyone. This kind of speech, which generously gives away others' possessions, almost made Jade faint from anger. On the phone, she was speechless, huffing and puffing with rage. Meanwhile, I was leisurely lying on the sofa in the villa, sipping hot cocoa made from chocolate. When I opened the trending searches, Jade's Apocalypse Food live stream was already at the top. Don't be angry, Jade, they can't get in anyway. So just let it go. I've got good news for you. You're about to become famous. I knew exactly what my sister cared about the most, whether it was her unwillingness to be outshone by me or her belief that she was destined for internet fame. In the previous life, even with news of widespread looting and violence everywhere, she still insisted on doing food live streaming with one goal in mind, to become famous. Hearing my words, my sister instantly turned from angry to delighted. Really? Just a few days ago, your fans kept coming to my live streaming room to curse me. I soothed her. That's how online comments are. People only curse you when you're famous. If you were really nobody, no one would even bother to curse you. Gradually convinced, my sister said excitedly, you have a point, then I'll keep doing food live streaming. Sis, don't be jealous when my number of followers surpasses yours. I snorted and agreed. Of course not. You're my dearest sister. No matter what happens, I'll support you unconditionally. It seemed that before long, Jade would repeat the mistakes of her previous life. This time, however, I would watch as she trapped herself, like a silkworm spinning its own cocoon. Still, compared to the hatred from the previous life, the issue of survival in this life remained a formidable challenge for me to overcome. A month passed, and both the heating and water supply were cut off. The news reported that every day, many people died from the low temperature and dehydration. In some cases, entire residential areas showed no signs of human life. I brought out the prepared charcoal and burned it day and night. I also pasted heat packs all over my body and wrapped myself tightly in a thick down comforter to maintain a constant body temperature. Steaming hot food provided the necessary warmth. I added diced luncheon meat and cooking oil to the boiling rice porridge and supplemented with some nuts after the meal. Without any external supplies, my physical functions remained at a normal level, just like in normal times. Bonfires at night attracted wolves, and the apocalypse was no exception. One morning, there was a knock on the villa's door. 10. I turned on the monitor screen at the entrance. Outside the villa gate stood a fully armed group of people. They were in a jeep, which had snow clearing equipment attached to the front. Hello. Would you mind reporting the situation at your place? We're residents of this area and want to know about each household's stockpiles to help everyone get through this difficult time together. They came prepared. If I didn't respond at this moment, I'd become their primary target. After a moment of thought, I picked up the microphone and said, hello, there are 3 of us at home. Now we only have half a bag of rice left. There's no water or gas, so we can't even cook the rice. We just moved here a few months ago and didn't prepare anything. Even by saving on food, we can't last much longer. We've been so worried. You're really a lifesaver. On the monitor, the people outside recorded what I said. Okay, I'll give you our phone number. You can call this number if you need anything. After the communication ended, I quickly transferred the stock supplies in the villa to the underground garage. Perhaps those people thought they had disguised themselves well, but they didn't know that from the monitor footage. I'd seen that after getting out of the car, two of them tipped military shovels and circled around the back of the villa. They returned to the car only after sizing up the area. If I had said there was only one person in my house, I'm sure they would have immediately shown their true colors and broken in to rob me. At night, the group indeed came back. Based on the information they gathered during the day, they went from house to house, stealing and robbing. The howling wind and snow outside masked the noise, and no one noticed what was happening in other people's homes. I stayed on the second floor, where I had a good view, and saw the headlights of a vehicle in the distance. Several dark figures got out of the car, nimbly climbed over the wall into the neighboring yard, pried open the window, and broke into the house. Before long, the screams of men and women were drowned out by the wind and snow. The group came out of the villa carrying water and food, some of them with blood on their hands. Soon, the jeep stopped in front of my house, but as soon as they touched the fence of the yard, a sharp alarm went off. Beep, beep, beep. The alarm pierced through the noisy wind, immediately drawing attention to the area. Damn, this house has an alarm. Brother Wang, what should we do? Seeing that they couldn't sneak in, the leader quickly called a few people and decided to force their way in. The main door was too sturdy to break easily, but the windows were a different story. They raised their window-breaking hammers and struck the four corners of the glass violently. Bang, bang. After a few minutes, the glass remained intact. Damn. What kind of crazy material is this glass? It won't break. From the window on the second floor, I set up my crossbow and fired an arrow in the direction of the dark figures. Ah, with a scream, someone fell into the snow. Something's wrong. Retreat. The injured person was dragged back into the car by their accomplices, leaving a long trail of blood in the snow. The group fled in a hurry, but I knew they wouldn't give up. Before they attacked again, I had to move to the underground garage first. After all, it wasn't realistic to fight multiple attackers alone, and I'd heard in my previous life that some people robbed others with guns. Those who dared to break into houses during the apocalypse surely had weapons more terrifying than one could imagine. Fortunately, all the food was already stored in the garage. I just needed to move some daily necessities, medicine, and charcoal down in batches. With the villa emptied, my stronghold shifted to the underground garage. The garage had a ventilation system, so I didn't have to worry about suffocating inside. With the supplies they looted from their previous round of robberies, the group lay low for a few days but soon resumed their activities. This time, ignoring the blaring alarm, they climbed over the wall directly and swung a sledgehammer at the window. After more than 10 minutes, the bulletproof glass was finally broken. However, the villa was empty, with not a single useful item left. Brother Wang, there's no one here. Do you think they ran away? The leader, surnamed Wang, looked around suspiciously. No way. It's so cold. Without a vehicle, they'd be dead if they went out. They must still be here. Did you check the underground garage? Yeah, the door won't open. Hey, could they be hiding in the underground garage? The leader thought for a moment. The door to the underground garage is as strong as the main door. Even if you used explosives, you couldn't break it open. What about the exit? Let's try to get in through the exit. The exit is sealed off. The owners must have closed off the garage. The leader spat in frustration and cursed. Damn it, are these people fortune tellers or something? How did they make their house so impenetrable? Brother Wang, what should we do? Leave. The leader looked at the limping man at the back of the group and said, Lao Song, you stay and guard the garage door. I'll leave you a walkie-talkie and some flatbread. I'll send someone to relieve you tomorrow. The man named Lao Song was the one I'd injured. The leader leaving him, there might have been a plan to abandon him. Lao Song also realized his precarious situation and bargained with the leader. Finally, he managed to get 2 more bottles of water and another pack of flatbread for himself. After the others left, Lao Song hid in the villa, but they didn't realize that I could see their every move, both inside and outside the villa. Watching Lao Song on the monitor as he gnawed on the hard, frozen flatbread, I opened a box of self-heating hot pot. The ingredients included slices of beef, lotus root, potatoes, and kelp. I added a sausage and half a pack of instant noodles. As the steam rose, I ate, feeling warm all over. The next day, no one came to relieve Lao Song. Is anyone there? I was awakened by the knocking on the door. When I turned on the monitor, it was Lao Song. Let's make a deal. You give me food and water, and when they come back, I'll be your bodyguard and protect you. How about it? Lao Song's voice was hoarse, and he struggled to stand on his lame leg. To be honest, that group of people has been doing all kinds of evil things like burning, killing, and looting. I'm an honest man. I had no choice but to follow them before, but I've had enough. I don't want to do this anymore. Please take me in. The man at the door pleaded desperately. What a pity. I turned on my phone, and my sister's live streaming room was ranked first on the platform. Too bad. If I trusted others, I'd be the one in a pitiful situation. 11. On the screen, Jade was happily eating spicy instant noodles with a glowing face. A third of the stocked food behind her was already gone. Dear friends who like my live stream, please give me a thumbs up and follow me. If you want to see what else I'll eat, leave a message in the bullet comments. Just like in the previous life, the bullet comments were filled with reproach. Jade pouted and said sarcastically, "There's nothing you can do if you're jealous. It's not my fault I was smart enough to stock up at home. You starving wretches can only envy and hate me." The popularity of the live streaming room reached 1 million. I knew that even if I tried to persuade her to stop live streaming now, she wouldn't listen. Jade was so carried away by the unprecedented traffic that she was completely oblivious to the hidden dangers, and today was the day when the viewers from the live streaming room would come to her house and ransack it. However, it wasn't quiet before the storm either. Noise came from the live streaming room, and the sound of banging on the door rang out on cue. The neighbors were back, those beggars. Annoyed, Jade closed the door. But it didn't block out the noise completely. Those neighbors of mine keep coming to my house to beg every day. You'd think I owed them something. They just open their mouths and ask me for food and drinks. They have no shame at all. Hearing these words from my sister, I couldn't help but find it ridiculous. If she put it that way, what did I ever owe her? She treated me like an endless source of resources and never felt guilty when she took advantage of me. Jade still said haughtily, "I'm generous. Let them keep banging. Let's see if they can get in." As soon as she finished speaking, a loud crash came from the door. Thud. Jade was startled and quickly got up to check. She ran right into a group of well-equipped burly men. After breaking down the door with sledgehammers and electric saws, they barged straight in. "Who are you, little girl? Don't you know the saying, don't flaunt your wealth? Blame yourself for bringing this on yourself." The burly men pushed Jade aside and quickly ransacked the room. Taking all the stocked food, the neighbors outside, who were watching, didn't dare to stop them. They only dared to plead for some food as the men passed by, but the burly men ignored them all. The scene happened so suddenly that Jade was terrified. She tremblingly took out her phone and dialed a number. "Hello?" I answered the phone. "Sis, there are robbers. They took all the food in the house. What should I do now?" I opened a can of yellow peach and took a bite before replying. "Why don't you ask the neighbors for help?" Of course, the neighbors wouldn't help. It was already a mercy that they didn't rush into loot as well. They've been begging at my door every day. How could they help me? It's all your fault. If you hadn't insisted on going out, I wouldn't have been left alone at home. I've been cooking my own meals and boiling my own water these days. When have I ever done such things before? Recovering from her shock, Jade vented all her anger on me, crying and shouting angrily into the phone, her words full of accusations and demands. "I don't care. You have to bring me food tomorrow. You have to figure out a way, no matter what. If those people could find their way here, you can definitely come back too," I said. "The roads are blocked by snow, and my car has long been buried. I can't come back." Jade persisted. "If you can't come back, then beg someone else to bring me food. You're the best at begging for help, aren't you? I'm your sister. You can't just watch me starve to death." I was silent for a long time after listening to my sister's words. She was right. I was good at begging others for help. When Jade quarreled with her teacher in high school, the situation was so serious that the school planned to give her a demerit. It was me who begged the teacher and the school not to punish her. When Jade had an argument with her dorm mate in college and smashed the other person's computer out of anger, leading to the other party calling the police, it was me again who pleaded with others and used all my savings from part-time jobs at that time to compensate for the computer. In fact, I'm not the kind of person who can easily swallow my pride. When I ask for help, I feel embarrassed, ashamed, and utterly humiliated, so I've never begged for myself. However, in Jade's eyes, I'm nothing more than a servant who will grovel for her. The canned yellow peaches on the table were all gone. At this moment, the sweet taste seemed to soothe my body and mind. The resentment and accusations on the other end of the phone continued. I took a deep breath and said, "Jade, this time, I'm going to watch you starve to death with my own eyes." The voice on the other side stopped abruptly, as if she had never expected me to say such words. "What did you say? Are you crazy, Haley? I'm your own sister. How could you do this to me? Do you have any conscience? Do you really want to kill your own sister?" I said calmly. "I'm just treating you the way you treated me. You don't need to feel wronged because you don't deserve my kindness." Then the apocalypse arrived, and the cold snap quickly swept across the globe. The blizzard covered up all signs of life. Epilogue 12. 3 months passed, and the wind and snow still raged, the power grid collapsed, and the city was plunged into darkness. I used the last remaining photovoltaic generator to power the monitoring system. The man at the garage door had already frozen to death, and his companions never came for him. The supplies stockpiled in the garage were enough to sustain me for a year. But I had no idea whether this extreme cold apocalypse would ever end. I played chess alone, read books, and occasionally heard broadcasts on the radio, but they were only news about the further drop in temperature. I poured canned meat over the self-heating rice, just like when I first started food live streaming. At that time, I was working part-time to support myself through school and living in a shabby rental house. Most of my income went to Jade as living expenses because she said her classmates at school were all wearing brand-name clothes and she cried and begged for them. My sister's words reminded me of the hardships I faced during my school days and the envy I felt when I saw my classmates with their pocket money. I gritted my teeth, left 200 yuan for myself, and bought a pair of brand-name sports shoes for my sister. For a long time after that, I would steam a large pot of rice and eat it with pickled vegetables. Occasionally, I would buy some boneless minced meat from the market, stir-fry it with sauce, and pour it over the rice. My roommate at the time said I ate those simple meals with such relish and suggested that I start food live streaming online. Among the various channels featuring gourmet food and exotic cuisine, my food live streaming was simple and shabby, yet unique. Viewers either watched it as a joke, out of sympathy, or because they found my eating style appetizing. Gradually, more and more people came to watch my live streams. Occasionally, I could get some food promotion deals, which improved my diet. Later, I started making some home-style dishes. Because my live streaming style was down to earth, clean, and tidy, I gained the love and support of many people. After finishing a bowl of rice, I lay back on the bed. The only light came from the charcoal fire and candles, making it feel like I was in an underground cave. The radio broadcast came in, and I wondered how long this kind of life would last. Half a year had passed since the extreme cold apocalypse began. My daily routine consisted of adding charcoal, boiling water, eating, taking stock of supplies, and then going back to sleep. Like a hibernating animal, I minimized my movements as much as possible in the cold and dark underground, entered a state of sleep, maintained my vital signs, and conserved my remaining body heat, within the visible range of the surveillance cameras outside the villa. There were no longer any signs of human presence. The news no longer counted the casualties. I even began to worry if I was the only human being left alive. On the 215th day of the extreme cold apocalypse, I was awakened by the crackling sound on the radio. A female voice said, according to the monitoring by the Meteorological Bureau, the extreme cold weather will be brought under control in the next 2 weeks, and the temperature will gradually warm up. I perked up my ears, rubbed my eyes, and looked at the radio in disbelief, afraid that it was just an illusion. Was the apocalypse finally coming to an end? On the 230th day of the extreme cold apocalypse, there was a ticking sound coming from the ventilation vent of the underground garage. The ice and snow were melting, and the temperature dropped a few degrees compared to the previous days. On the 237th day, through the monitor, I saw a helicopter flying over the villa and dropping ice crystal particles. Before long, the snow turned into puddles of water. On the 240th day, the lights in the villa came on, and the city's power supply was restored, but out of caution, I didn't leave the underground. On the 254th day, from the monitor facing the road outside the villa area, I saw military supply trucks driving by. On the 256th day, I opened the door connecting the underground garage to the villa. After the temperature warmed up, the bodies outside had started to rot. I turned on the TV, and the news was reporting on the impact of this severe weather. According to statistics, the number of survivors was less than 1/10 of the original population. In the camera shots, work had resumed in the urban area. Everyone's face showed the exhaustion and relief of having survived a disaster. Many more people, due to the loss of physical functions, were lying in rows in the hospital, receiving nutrient injections. When I pushed open the villa's gate, a beam of sunlight hit me. It was so intense that I could hardly open my eyes. The apocalypse was finally over.